from the presentation. All right, I have it all set up now. So if you've been sending messages, I apologize. And then Jose, what's going on? Appreciate those likes. Already in the stream. That's low-key crazy. You have all the notifications or something? How so soon? How so soon is what I want to know. All right, we're gonna go queen down here. Checkmate in two. All right, that's what we like to see. This is a check, capture. All right, checkmate here on F1. Yo, what's going on, man? How you doing today? But the queen's gonna take on E1. That is crazy timing. Cause I literally, you joined in less than a minute, less than 30 seconds. That's crazy timing. And I appreciate those likes again, Jose. Much appreciated. Yeah, check here, and then checkmate here on H8. All right, let's see, and then yeah, already almost at 500 likes. Much appreciated. All right, we got the first 6 correct. We get the first 7 correct. Should be the first 8 now. This is a pretty easy one. All right, first 9. Let's get the first 10. This is the first step into breaking my record. All right, that's 10. That's 10. We have to get 48 more. I'm feeling good today, honestly. I'm feeling like today's the day I hit a new record. I'm feeling 60 today. I'm feeling 60 today. Let's see if we can get there. The rook slides. All right, we got to make sure we get every easier puzzle correct. Honestly, I'd restart if I didn't get it right, but as to start this run, I think you can push up. If they go here, you could go bishop back, and if they go over, you can take. So let's see here. Yep, that's it. The king's gonna slide. This is mate in 1 with the rook sliding here to E1. What's going on, Southern? How you doing today? Yeah, RE1, and that should be it. Okay. Let's see. Next, the rook slides out the way of the corner. Do you see there's something here? But before you can do that, there's a checkmate because the rook is there. All right, queen here, you lose the queen. But if you go queen to C7 instead, I had a pretty good day today. I can't lie. Pretty good day today. 3 of my classes are finished, so definitely a lot off the plate. That feels good to have a lot off the plate. We got Q here to A8. You're going to capture this rook, and then bishop here to D5, and then take here. Checkmate. I got the first 16. The first 17, as I see this one pretty easily, you're going to slide over. And now you have a checkmate because the queen can slide to G8, cutting off the diagonal, cutting off the rank still, and the king cuts off G6. So let's do that. A Sudan. So I had a presentation, and I just have not changed yet, honestly. And I'm someone, I don't waste time. I'm very stringent with like scheduling myself. So I started streaming later than I wanted to anyway. So I was like, well, I don't feel like taking the time to change. I probably could have, but I did not. But their king's here. This one I don't see immediately. If you check, they go over. Oh, rook here to be, yeah, okay. I was like, what happens? I saw this. You go here, this is deflection. You won the queen. Like, they go here, but you got rook B8. But here you go check. And then another deflection because it's forcing her to take here. Today, yeah, I had a presentation earlier, and I just have been doing stuff since then, and I did not change. So maybe I could have changed, but I was trying to get on. I kept having something pop up, not pop up. Well, I gotta do this. I gotta do this, like stuff that I kept forgetting that I had to do. So this is what happened. If you take here, you have the check. They can move over, then could you go queen back? I think that is what it is. Yeah, you have to yo-yo. Yeah, if they go there, you would have went back to A1, but now you take the queen for free. That's interesting. I'll show that tactic, actually. That's pretty interesting. I want to expand on it. So, check. Oh, wait, no. If instead they do... Well, this is not the right thing. I'm on the wrong thing. The analysis bar is what I'm looking for. Okay, take. If they move their queen over, QA1... QE1, and then that's why it worked that time. Okay, let's go to this next one here. We're at the first 21. This looks free because if they take, you take with check. Appreciate that, charismatic. But if you take, they take, and then you take here with check, and then you take the rook back there on D2. So let's see if that's right. Yeah, capture. You can't take this rook though. Take this rook and then take this rook. All right, the pawn's going to go forward. The queen is almost trapped, but not quite. You can't push up, they'll take. If you take, I guess the knight's just hanging. So you just take this and then take, yeah, you probably just do that. Take this and then take then take the queen and then take the knight. If your queen's there, the queen's for free at the end, so you don't want to do that. The knight slides here to G5. What do we have? You see you have a check here on the king, but the king does have an escape square. Oh, the bishop, probably. Yeah, the bishop can slide here to b4. If they drop, you take, and then you take the rook. And there's no checkmate with the knight. I think that's just for show. Yeah. This isn't free yet, or the queen will capture, so you take here first. Now the queen moves, and now you take here in the corner. Can you guys see? Yeah, you can see the puzzle number. Alright, the queen's going to go here to a2. Ah, this is a checkmate idea. So the queen captures with check. The rook has to take. I mean, because if you went knight back, you just take. But then the rook takes, and then the rook goes down. Or the right rook goes down. And that is checkmate there. And then all the likes, much appreciated. We had 1.5 thousand and under like 6 minutes. That's a lot. That's a lot of likes per minute if you were to average that, I'm sure. But the rook slides over here. I wonder. This one's a little bit harder. It has to be some type of sacrifice, because the queen has to be here on c7, and then it's probably rook over after the king goes to yeah. You have to sack, I think. Yeah, check, and then rook's gonna slide here to a1, and they go king here. That's where I'm a little. And then Dot, appreciate those likes on TikTok. We're closing in on now 2,000. It looks like, and another sub. Yo, another sub already. 24 away from the big. What is this? 1,000. And then Nathan, appreciate the follow there on TikTok. I think I see. Much appreciated. But the king goes back. Queen check. Oh yeah. Wait. Yes. You can sack the queen here. The bishop captures. They can't move. They have to go over. And then knight takes. That's a mating pattern. That is. It's not common, but you have to know it for bishop and knight. It's pretty useful, I'd say. All right, I'm moving their pawn forward. If you capture, the king moves up. Is there a queen sack here as well? It doesn't look like there is. Can you sack the knight? Maybe you can just take the pawn in the center. Yeah, that's just checkmate. Okay, you can just take here on e4. That's mate in one. All right, they capture here in the corner. I'm looking for a similar thing, because you see the king is super weak, and you can't put your bishop on this diagonal. So I'm looking at bishop a6. Is it? Oh, is it? Okay, bishop a6, king over. Because if you move the queen in, you can't checkmate them. You can't get on the diagonal. I think this is the point, the bishop being here, to cut off this idea of checkmate. So I believe you have to go check. And if they block whatever, you'd still take. So they go king over. However, if they go e3, d3 first or not, doesn't really matter. They have to move over anyways. The queen. Appreciate that, J-Lack. Oh, another sub. 977. Now 23 away. Much appreciated. But the queen going down here. Check after. They slide. Now this is where I'm confused, because I guess you'd go check here and then over. But then if you brought the bishop, couldn't they go king here? Well, I think this is the first move, so I'll just play this. Oh, I'm missing QE2. Yes, that's why it works, the QE2. All right, so this next one. All right, they push their pawn forward. Queen here to b8. Chat, yeah, good. I know, I just missed that completely charismatic. Good eye, good eye. And Jose, again, appreciate the support. But the queen sliding here to a8 check is my thought first. If they go back, you take, and you're still threatening a mate idea, so they'd honestly sack again, and then you're just up the rook after taking and king up. I believe that's it. QA8, yeah, they have to sack twice. Like, once looks like it's enough, like, to give up one rook, but you can't, because if you let the bishop stay, you can then go bishop back to G. I'll show that, actually. Might be easier. And then we get that one. We got the first 30. This was an interesting puzzle. So here, if they just sack one rook, which I guess why would you just do one if you're doing it? But say they just, I guess, take. You could then go back here to g6, which is the same idea of what it was doing previously with queen down. Now if you go back, the only legal move, this is checkmate, which is why that puzzle works there. I had a pretty good day, Boba. Pretty good day. How about yourself? I'd say a good day. Not pretty good. It was a good day today. Usually I'd say a qualifier. I'd say it was overall positive. But the knight can take check here, and then queen takes on e5. Then you take the rook in the corner. That should be it. Because this fork, I don't see why it doesn't work. I guess they could go queen here. Yeah, that's I still don't get, no, that's not why. I don't get why it works, but this definitely does work. I'll look. Because I'm confused myself why you can't just do that instead. Let's see. I'm imagining there's some way the queen can get out with an initiative. I'm just not seeing it. If you go here, where is it? QB2. I mean, I guess this is not even... Oh, because you already lost a piece. That's probably the problem, because it's a two pieces for a rook is the thing. So I thought you can win the rook. I was right there. I just miscalculated that, or I didn't even think about the fact that you already lost a piece. Oh man, hope you get better. Hope you get better. I was sick for like a month of this semester. That was not fun. I know the pain there. Here, queen down, bishop down, queen up, up. Oh, that's what it is. This, and then you go queen here. They could only move here legally, and then queen to c. That's a pretty cool checkmate, honestly. Queen c3 checkmate. The king can't move anywhere laterally. You can sack your bishop, and then knight here, and then you take that bishop. That feels like kind of a weak tactic to make a puzzle, if that's it. Because you only want a pawn, but it's probably like +4 or something. I'm pretty sure that's it, though. Yeah. And then nice one to go here, and you take this. What is the evaluation on that? Because it can be that good. And then Jose, again, appreciate the likes here on TikTok. Yeah, it was not fun. It was not fun, Boba, but it was the type where it's like how much you could tolerate, so it couldn't get worse, and it wasn't like I was bedridden. So it was, I've felt worse, I'll say. It's +3, it's saying. I guess. I don't know if I feel like I could defend this in a bullet game, though. It doesn't feel that winning. Maybe knight here. But there's no light squared bishop anymore. I think I could defend that. Unless I was playing, someone way better than me. But for the most part, that feels not the worst position. But the rook slides over here to b8. There's a knight sack that would work if the queen couldn't take it. Oh, it's a rook sack, though. Yeah, and then the queen goes here to h1, replacing. And the king can't move because the knight's covering those two squares. And now this is checkmate. All right, next up, they push their pawn here to d2. All right. We have 34. We got to get the next. Thank you, Boba. Thank you. But yeah, we have to get the next 26, basically. That's the goal here. If the rook gives this check, does that help? I don't think that helps. Bishop down is actually checkmate in 1, right? Yeah, that's mate in 1. The king can't go backwards. The can't go forwards. It can't. I guess it could go down here to d6. So it can do something. But then that's actually checkmate on f3, right? Yeah, and then rook f3. They can't move there at all. Can't move here. I guess you could go down. So here, down. Oh, then you move the bishop again, and then that's... Oh, it's mate in 3. I'm thinking it's mate, but it's mate here now. On g4 instead. Right. Alright, so there's the next one. The knight's going to take in the center. You would think it has something to do with... Oh, okay, I see it. It's knight captures check, cx d5, and then bishop b5, and then if you... Yeah, that has to be it. And then capture. And then that bishop's going to hang at the end. This, I would guess, is g4. It's probably the rest of it that I don't see yet, but it must be g4 attacking. They go over, take. You just have to get... Yeah, you probably just run around, and then you take the rook. So you can't go here, that's a draw. If you go this way, I think you can still win it. And king here, and then king over. Alright. The queen's going to capture. So you know there's a mate here. Or not a mate. Yeah, you're in check, actually. How do you... Oh, you go rook down here, check, and then you win the queen. Okay, I was like, well, how do you do anything with this one? But you can take this pawn first. If you just took the queen, you're probably still losing, honestly. This is... Oh, this is just checkmate. No, yeah, this is just mate. Never mind. Has nothing to do with the fact that it's winning endgame. This is mate. You control the diagonals and the file there. Alright, you see the king slides over. The rook is obviously needed. But how is it used would be my question. Could you go queen down? I just don't get how they can't. Unk is crazy. Unk is crazy. I'm a college student. But I'll take the first part of that. I'll take the compliment. But queen here to h5, check. If they go over, you can go queen h8. Here, down, up. Okay, that's definitely not checkmate. You need to somehow get it where the rook can still involve... Like, you could get... That's the ideal setup. They have a check here. So maybe if you give a check here... It would have to be here. Because if you go back, they have too many options. Oh, but they can't go over. So here they have to go over. Check. They have a way out, whatever you do, if that were to be the way. Is there a force mate? Because you can't stay on the dark squares either. Alright, check over here. And there's no capture. This is an interesting one. I'm a little stuck, but you gotta get it right. You can't get one wrong under 40. Could you check down? Up? Over? 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 And then it seems like they're pretty safe. If you were to do it that way. Instead, down. But the bishop can block. That's what I'm missing. The bishop can block whatever you do. So that's why it must be this. And then they go here. And then you go here. And they go over. I really don't see this one. But if you move your queen and they go bishop down, that can't be it. There's no way. Yeah, it is. It's no way they're making you block. That doesn't make any sense. If they block, you can't do anything. Alright, QG8 is correct. Now the second part, this is where I'm stuck. I mean, I was stuck on the first part, but getting here, there's checkmate. So you know it has to be check. Oh, you win the queen. Oh, it's not checkmate. You win the queen at the end. Yeah, so it's check here, right? And then it's here because they can't go here or here. They have to go here and then QH3. I will say that's a good thing about puzzles. I like when there's the ones you don't know the exact tactic. Because I was trying to find checkmate, and there's no checkmate. That's why I couldn't find it. There's no mate. But you win the queen here at the end after QH3. Alright, the rook's going to capture here in the center on D5. It looks like there's some sack with the knight. And then they take. And then check up. Oh, yeah, you can go. I'm like, why? You can go there, but they take. The rook's there. That's a cool puzzle setup. If the rook's not there, it's probably losing. But obviously, that's chess. You can sack the knight now, and then queen down, and now bishop here. I was like, you can't go bishop there because there's a rook, but the rook doesn't matter. Or no, because there's nothing guarding it. But the rook there does allow it to happen. And Jose, again, appreciate these likes. I think rook h8 is the first move. This is just mate in 2. And then they go here, and then you go rook down. And they can't move anywhere. Yeah, rook h8. Rook h4. Alright, next up, the rook's here on a4. This just looks like it's hanging. Is it more than that? I don't think it is. I think you just take this. Because if you took this way first, I mean, that's wrong for a couple. I think that's wrong for a few reasons. If you go here, I think they could just go rook back. Honestly, well, you could do that. I'm sure that's not the right answer. Oh, maybe it's because rook here. That might be why. I don't know. I'll have to look at that after, but I'm pretty sure it's bishop captures instead anyways. Oh, no, you can't. No, you can't take with the knight because of this. Like, somewhere with the knight discover check. I was very confused. Like, why can't you just do this? If they go over, you could discover check and take the bishop. But it wouldn't be. Well, I'll show after. If I get it right, we'll see why I was wrong. I think it's bishop captures instead. Yeah. Okay, the pawn goes forward. Well, I did not expect h4, to be honest. I thought they were just going to take it and queen captures. Can you just go back? I mean, that feels like feels like it's simplifying it, but is there another option? I don't think so. I just think it's QH6, yeah. And you can't take with the knight. Okay. Oh, I'm still in the puzzle. Well, knight back then. Well, is there another way to get out? We're up this bishop. You can't go there. Yes, I think you just retreat to the center. Let's go over that one, though, because the reason you can't take with the knight is not what I would assume. If you take with the knight here, rook g3 does win? Really? What if you go here? And they take, and then you take. Oh, you're in check. That's the problem. Discover check. Okay, that makes sense. Well, it's not that complicated then. I thought it was more than that. It's just because if you go here and you move, it's just to discover check with the knight. Alright, let's go to this next one. Sitting at 42 here. The rook is... Oh, is it because bishop here, take knight here, and then it's a fork? I've done something similar before. This is it would have to be this, yeah. I guess my only thing is after here, could they not get there? I don't know. I don't know about that. Is it king d2? But then if they push then, no, it's not king d2. So it's either take, or is it push? Okay, if you push here, wait, push, 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 here. Oh, maybe that's why you can just push the pawn. Yeah, if you go here, they would, if they go over, then your king is quick enough. Yeah, I think it's knight takes. No, it's not. It's not. What is the move? Oh, knight d3. Oh, it stops b2 this way. Now the knight gets there and that's crazy. Yeah, I completely missed that. Completely missed that idea. And we have one wrong at 40. Not a good thing. Not a good thing as we're trying to get to 60 this time. All right. Queen back check. I'm feeling pretty confident about, because then if you take, I guess they could then queen though, which would not be good. If you check, they move their king, take, queen, but then they go e8. Oh, but then you could take. No, that has to be it. And then they go e8, rook captures, and you're up. It's queen versus rook. Yes, and they do it this way instead. Okay. That was way easier than the last one. The difference in difficulty for the same type of puzzle is astounding. This is a free bishop too. There's no way that after that, if they push up, can you then go here? I mean, this is free. Alright, that's what I was expecting. They go a5. But now you can offer the queen trade again, can't you? Yeah. And that is the puzzle. So you're going to capture. You see that you have this idea. It's probably queen here to a8 though. Yeah, it probably is, because the king can't move over, and there is mate. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that. Don't have to calculate too much. Capture, and that's going to be mate. So we got 45. We got 3 right since that one incorrect. All right, up here to e5, kd3. Oh, I was confused what you meant kd3. It's, well, the notation for knight is n instead. I was king d3. I see what you're saying now. Alright, but they push the pawn forward here to e5. If you capture here, I guess you could take that. Well, right now you're equal material. Pushing up, they go anywhere. Can you win anything though? I don't know if you can win anything. Capture, 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 capture. Well, I'm sure you can win something. I'm just saying with the line I'm saying, can you win something? d5 attacking the queen. If they drop back, I don't know if I also am confused on this one. I don't exactly see it. A lot harder. This still feels like the move, because it opens up the bishop too. But what check could it even complete? If you took this and they move, and then you take, and then they take, is that check worth anything? Because the knight is loose. But if you check and they just go over, or they can go over it, because if you took, it's an open file. If you take, they'd have to take back, and now you have that check. They can't move over here to the b file, and they move their king over. Is it check again? But they can go king here to e2 at the end of that. So that doesn't feel like that's really a plan to do. The pawn is almost free. Like, if they take the queen, you take the pawn, they take your queen. You could check. And they move their king up. Yeah, I'm running in circles here. I may have to get another one incorrect before we get to 50 even. Alright, but they're on e5. Queen captured, pawn captures. No. Pawn captures, queen, pawn captures queen, bishop captures. No, that's too slow. So an obvious one that's not right to me is pawn captures pawn. I don't think you could play that. I would guess this either takes queen or d5, because if you took the pawn, they could take your queen. And there's no intermezzo that wins you anything, right? If you go bishop a3, they just slide over. So it's not super helpful. Yeah, it's not super helpful. And if your bishop's gone, that knight on f6 is weak. So I don't think you can take it. If you push the pawn, though, it does force the queen to drop back, which is why I'm leaning towards that. But wherever the queen goes, I don't see how they have an initiative on the knight. But if you take the queen, they'd have to take the queen back. That's the most forcing I would bet. If you took, they'd take back because their bishop's under attack and their bishop doesn't have a lot of squares. Then if you go tournaments, the tournaments will be in 2 days from now. Yeah, they're up here on e5. I'm not sure which one. Queen captures, bxc4. Queen trade. I'm thinking of that as well. qxc4. That's what I'm thinking as well. But if they take back, I don't see a follow-up to it. Like d captures e5, the bishop would take back on e5 there. Yeah, the rook, I was seeing that. I don't see how you can win with it though. The bishop does look trapped. That's why I'm like, I want to play. I guess I could go here, but you go rook over. The problem is if you take, they can take the queen. That's the only issue. Is they capture the queen, and then you take back, and now they can capture in the center. So if you were to take and then take with the pawn here, you take. That's still weak. Like, it needs to be a way to guard it and take at the same time so the bishop can't just capture back. Rook up doesn't work. Rook, yeah, you just lose the rook. And if you were to take, it wouldn't really matter there. Knight d5. I think knight d5 falls because they have two pieces there. And I think it'd be free. This is what I would do if it was a quick game. Because I really don't see how this could work. Like, if you take, then you just take. And then the attack is done. You take back, they capture. The knight's under attack, so they can try and take to get their way out of it. Check. Over. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to go for this. That's the correct move. Alright, that's my instinct. I just don't see I don't see the follow-up whatsoever. But it's a little bit easier now. At least we know we got the first move. Queen trade. Okay, Pico, you did call that one correctly. It is a queen trade. I had a presentation, and I just did not change since then. So yeah, this was for something school related. I did not take it off. It is pretty comfortable too, so it's not like I'm uncomfy. Which if I was, I probably would have taken it off. But they have triple pawns too. That's not a good thing. But if you capture here, the bishop takes. It has to be the check here. It has to be take back now. Like, there's no way you don't take in the center. I'm just missing what to do after, but this must be the next move. You have to take. Because if you just move, the attack is definitely done. And the bishop would be active, yeah. It has to be captures. If this move is correct, you know that part's correct. It's move 3 that I'd say is the hard part. Check. They have to go here or here. So that's a forcing move. That's a good thing. It's a forcing move. So check. They have to go to the file. Let's say here. But let's say here. If you go here. Because they're trying to get like over and out. I guess it doesn't matter too much. You would check on d8. But they could bring their knight. Like, that's the only thing. I don't know if that's it because they can bring their knight in. But your knight can be traded at any point. Alright, I'm just going to go for this. That is the move. Now, I do see the idea of moving the bishop here. As you would be trying to set this up to e4. But how do they, why would they allow you to do that, I guess is my question. The rook could slide over, knight in. Oh, they can't move knight in because take, the bishop's hanging. Okay. So I think it's rook d8. I want to figure out why it's rook d8 though. Because they can't block, they'd have to go over. So that must be losing somehow that I'm just not seeing. And if they go king over. Oh, then you move your rook. Oh, yeah, I see it. I see it. It's here. I'll show that. And now it's rook e8. Because the bishop is hanging. But not because of the pawns. It's because the king is here on this file. You can't get anything there quick enough to defend it with a rook e8. And now you take the bishop. Okay. Let's show that why they can't move their knight, though. That was an intricate puzzle. Very intricate puzzle there. So you take the queen. That was kind of intuition. I did not see that whole line. But nothing else made sense to me here. You have to take it. Like, taking this doesn't work. They just take your queen. This is what the engine's saying too. Here, and then capture it. It's no line at all. And pushing also wants to work, but after the queen just moves back, there's also nothing. Your knight's just under attack. So you have to, and then, is that an ant? Appreciate those likes there on TikTok. Is that an ant as your username? And then Steven, shout out, or Stefan. Very similar name to me. Shout out to your name. But they can't do that, QD3. So that's why I kind of assumed it was capturing here on C4. I appreciate the likes there, Stefan. Let's see. Anthony. Oh, okay. I know a couple Anthonys. But yeah, if you take here in the center, it's another thing. It's not intuition. Like, if this moves right, you have to take. Like, you kind of have to take the pawn there on E5. It's hard to. Anything else doesn't make sense. Like, if you just move the knight back, like here or here, they just get a better position. So that's why you know you have to take. And this is where I was confused. Bishop A6. I guess not really. Bishop A3. Another move you kind of know, you would feel like you'd have to play because it's forcing, as they can't block or move over. And this is the part where the calculation I was really stuck at. Like, I could get to that part, but I finally saw it. It's because if you check, like, this is the move. They can't block, right? Because you take, they'd have to. Well, it's saying Bishop A1, but for the like to show the idea, if they took you take here and now that's taking that way, so they can't block with the knight. So they have to move their king to another file. But you see the pawn at F4, chess is so intricate. They can't push F4 at all because you have a pawn there and they have triple pawn, so no pawn in the D file. That's why Rook E8 is completely winning there. All right, that one took a while, but that's why it is survival and not the timed one. We got it correctly. But they push their pawn forward here. A Sudan. I had a school presentation earlier, and I just have not taken it off yet. So yeah, I guess it's not even laziness. It's just. It's comfortable, and I started streaming later than I wanted to start streaming because I had some other homework to do, and I just did not change. But they go up here to F4. If you take there on D7, can you? I guess you can't. Oh no, you can take on D7. Wait, if you take on D7, QX D7, Rook D8, I guess they could just take on E6 though. And it really wouldn't make that big of a difference. I see there's like a mate idea on G1. That's the only thing I see. Yeah, you can't take this. Because you take Rook D8, and then QX E6, and then this check is kind of useless after King G2. If you take... They can't take, right, because you go Rook G1. This is definitely the idea because you have these rooks. And it always has to be a check. Because I guess if you took and then take. Oh, couldn't they just go QC8? And then if you go back, they take. So no, I don't think it's that either. Is there a sack here? Maybe it is this idea. Capture. Rook D8. Takes. Check. Up. But I guess if their queen's here on E, they could just block. So is it this? But if you do this, why can't they? Oh, this is checkmate. Ah, it's checkmate if they take the rook. So maybe it is that. Capture. And if they go rook down, check, over, rook take, rook take, king over, checkmate. Ah, I think that is it. I was like, why can't they just take this? It's because it's checkmate there on F1. The king can't move. I think that's it, but let's make sure there's nothing else. You can't capture over, and then take. And those are only the two moves you can really consider. Because if you do anything else, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, capture, and they have to go back. And then queen F3, check. No, it's not QF3. What is it? Why can't you do that? You take the queen. Is this not checkmate? Oh, they're guarding. That's why you can't sack. Yeah, the queen is here. Otherwise, that almost works. But the queen's there, so it does not work. We got two incorrect there. Presentation on. It was on smart technology and like how to integrate it on college campuses, essentially. Like, it was a little more like in depth than that, but that's like the broad. Our specific thing was transportation, smart technology. So I obviously got smart tech, but specifically transportation was our goal. But rook here to G8, double check, and then rook over. We can't get any more incorrect if we're trying to get the best I've ever gotten. We're 10 away now, 10 away. If you take the knight here, the king moves, and then over. We see you have another bishop involved too. Let's see. If he takes rook, yeah, you're right there, Peter. I missed that part for a while. And August. Yeah, I missed that. But yeah, they go knight here to g6. This is a checkmate idea, but the queen could slide over, so that doesn't really work. Taking, and if the king took, there's a mate. If you could somehow get the bishop and queen there, that's the mate I'm looking at. I don't imagine that's realistic. Oh, it's probably queen f7. Because if you go qf7, I was so worried. Like if you go here, they can block with the queen, right? But if you go here now, this is mate that they can't stop because the queen can't slide over. I think it is qf7, yeah. And now they have to sack their queen. See, the puzzle is so fun. If they could go there, it works. But now, you just take the queen. I'll do this next one here. Appreciate that, Ilya. Yeah, the bishop has dropped back. Alright. Can you take that? Probably not. Rook captures f7. King up. Do you bring them all the way out and sack again? But there's no follow-up check. The problem with this check is they go up, you go king over. They can block with like 10 pieces. So I don't understand how that'd be the idea. And then you have no diagonal check. This knight is kind of a tell though. You know that the queen can't give a check here. So it has to be more brute force on the F file. Queen straight over runs into knight up. Right. That's why I would guess you have to sack. I just don't see the rest of it. You would have to sack here. I think. Rook takes bishop. Rook. I was looking at that. This would work. That'd actually be checkmate. But if you take, the knight could take is the only thing. The knight. And then, yeah, you couldn't take there because then king could capture. Let's see. Rook x f7. F7 is my idea. I think his rook captures f7. I just can't prove it. Like I don't see the rest of it after the king takes. But there's no other move that has forward progression. Like you can't move the queen anywhere. And then moving the bishop here, the knight is just too active. And then the queen can't get on the diagonal with the bishop to even set up an idea after the knight blocks the rook's attack. So the rook, this is forcing the king has to take. But if you give another check, the same issue, the knight can simply slide up. So I don't see how it'd be a mate. And the queen is too like the queen can't do anything. The queen's useless. It can't do anything. Can you just take this to get a queen? If you get a queen, well, we're down 2 pieces, so that's probably not it. Capture if the rook, or if anything just takes, it doesn't do anything for me. This is why take the. I think that the knight can just capture back if you capture bishop. As the only thing. Knight a4. I think the problem with knight a4 is the queen is. That's the thing. It has to be an immediate attack. Like if you go knight a4, it does remove the defender. I see the idea, but the queen is just attacking there. 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. playing 6 hours. What were you before that? Bishop c4. Bishop c4. Okay, let's say bishop c4. Knight x c4. Because I see your idea. If you do this and they take, that is checkmate, yeah. Because they can't go over. But I don't think they don't have to take. They could just take the bishop. And they go back. And then knight here. But yeah, that's the idea. And then glue bottle. We're just doing puzzles today. 2 days from now, we'll have the viewer tournaments. 980. Okay. That's plus 100. Congrats on that, man. Do you play 1-0 or 2-1? I'm going to have to guess. I don't see this at all. It has to be rook sack. Yeah, it is. Because nothing else is forcing. The rest I don't see, though. But nothing else is forcing. If you give a check, the knight up. Oh, and then, you could just go here and then over. And then bishop in. Yeah, that's what it is. It's queen here, and then check, and then back. No, not bishop in. What am I saying? No, bishop here. is the point. Or is it queen here instead? No, yeah. It's queen here and then like the bishop has to move. It's because I have it backwards. It's this check and then bishop down, right? Because if you go here first, the king back, you can't move. The knight is the tell because you can't go there because of the knight. So you give this check, they go back, you go in. But I guess they could take though. So maybe it's not. No. It's here, back, and then this. And now they can't stop it. Yes. Yeah. Alright. That took me a while to find. But I knew it had to be the rook sack. I called that like when I first saw it. But I just did not see the follow through. Every other thing has one move that stops it from working. So it was recommended to do rook captures. I think the problem is knight takes, yeah. But the thing is, if the queen takes, you're right. Because this is just checkmate if the queen captures. Right, you just promote, and this a pin. Another thing that was suggested, I think knight a4, it's here. And then with bc4, it does work if they take the queen because of that. But they can take the knight, right? Or they take the bishop, I mean. Or f6 apparently is also winning. But I would have assumed, I would have taken the bishop if I was playing. But f6 is actually a point better, basically, than the other way. Would have never found that if that was the puzzle. But the queen's here on d4 for this next one here. Appreciate that glue bottle. Appreciate the compliment if you're still here. Sorry. I have to look over. It's where it's at different levels, so it's easier to read this other one. But I got you. Much appreciated, man. But the queen's here on d4. If you take check, captures, take here. What I assume you have to use is the fact the king can't go forward. So it must be some type of back rank. Oh, wait, here? I almost see it if they took the bishop. No, this is check, though. That's the problem with that. They take this is check. But this is check. This is check. And they go here. And then you would take. They take. You check. They'd have to bring this rook back. Could you then go rook d8? But then that rook's free. So let's say once the rook is here and they move their rook back. If you were to take it, they'd have to take check. But they could go over. Take. Is it because it's a winning endgame and it just you just trade all the way down? And Jose, thank you for these likes. But yeah, I think that's it. Because the end of it, you trade every rook and you just go like king g7, h6, take, and you're winning. Because they'd have to stop this and you just move your king like, I guess you'd zigzag around here. That's like 10 moves. There's no way that's the puzzle. It must be something that's cleaner. The problem is this is taking with check, which is why I think it is you just capture, rook takes, rook down, capture, king capture, rook captures. Oh, but they could go king over, though, and you don't have to trade all the rooks, though. That's the only thing. Bishop f3. Oh, it probably is bishop f3. I didn't see that. Yeah, it probably is bishop f3, actually. Here. Queen over. And then you would have to go king. Actually, well, I don't know. Because if you go here, if they go there after the bishop moves, king, there's a way out of it, I think. Because if you move the bishop, they have this check, and you can't move back or you lose it, right? So it'd be a here, check, and you can't move the bishop back, can't move the queen back. So the king would either have to go to a dark square. Whichever dark square, there's a check with the bishop, which I think would be the issue. So I don't think it's there. I didn't see that, though. I did not see that, if I'm being honest. I didn't even consider it. But the move would... I mean, I don't see anything else, though. This plan is an endgame that you're up a pawn in. If you capture, rook takes. Rook takes. Rook down, take over, check, king over, and then king f7. The only thing, I'm sure I'm going to get this wrong because I don't see it. But if this is right, I'll have to apologize. I don't think it, I think it almost works. Problem is just q c4 check. I guess they could go, you could go queen down though? Maybe you could go queen down. And then, okay, hold on. You may be right. Bishop f3, qc4 check. I mentioned everything but qf7, right? That actually might work, though, if you do it that way. Because if you take and you took back with the rook, you'd be attacking their bishop too at the same time, right? So here, check, queen down. Yeah, there's really no way through that, is it? If you go after qf7, that might be it. Didn't see f rook, bishop f3. Yeah, I think it does work. Doesn't work because of bishop e5. Is that winning though? I thought it didn't work at first because of bishop f3, q c4. You can't blockade. I guess you could also block with the rook. I think it is bishop f3. Maybe that's the part of the puzzle you have to figure out the defense. But the 50th puzzle, is it really a pin? That seems crazy. That seems crazy. But maybe. I think you were right. I think it is bishop f3. Because if you go there, qc4, rook e5. If rook e5, you could take on f4 still. Because their bishop is hanging. Like if you go here and then here. I would have made the move by now, but this is the third strike. So I have to be sure. Because I'm 8 away from the record. Appreciate that, Lador. Ends up playing rook e7. Rook e7 after... Hey, bishop f3, qc... arrows. Bishop f3, qc4. I think qf7 would work. You're saying if they go here? I think this does work. Yeah, I think this works. Rook e7. Oh, you're saying after. But now you could take. And then here. And then here. And then rook down. I see your points. Because there's a mate idea. Let's see if I can figure out the... Why does it not work? Because it's definitely capture, right? And then capture, then capture. So that part I agree. Rook down, it does have a checkmate at some point. Oh, no. Wait. Oh, no. I was saying you go rook over, but then check here, over, and that's me. So that's not it. So if you capture, the queen has to capture. You have to take, though. That I know is the next move, because if not, that's checkmate, right? So you know you have to capture here. Because it's a check, it forces the queens off, stops qg7. So queen takes, rook down. You can't go here, though, just take it. Why does it work? Why does it work? Here, down. Oh, you could go rook over. Yes. You could go rook h4, and then you stop on h7. So they could only check it then, yeah. And it's rook h4 at the end. They didn't make you do that. I could have played that once we figured out the other part. But the reason it doesn't work is because of rook d. You have rook. You actually have bishop g. Somehow bishop g4 is fine. I guess because they can't. Oh, they can never go rook down. I'm thinking about this too hard. You could have done this too, though. This is still fine. But it's saying you could just go bishop g4. Because if they take, I would assume you don't have to react, right? And if, say you did this, this is never... This is good, apparently. But this is the point I want to prove. They can't go down, right? Which is what I was worried. It's no mate idea as long as you don't move your rook back to f8. Like, if you did this is losing, right? Because here. Alright. We got to 50. I missed bishop f3, so shout out to you guys. I don't think I would have found that. Maybe I would have, because it was a pin. But I did not find it in like 2 minutes, so maybe I would not have found that one there. Much appreciated. Alright. We're at 50. I've got 49 of them. I won't take credit for that. Queen here to a4. Check is the first thought. But they can move their bishop, so no. I feel like I've had this puzzle before, or something very similar. That was a nice one, Glubata. That was a fun one. And then Eli, I think I just saw. Appreciate those likes there on TikTok. The queen looks trapped. The queen doesn't have that many options. If you move your rook here to c1, I guess they could go over, back. Oh, you're setting up... Yeah, I think it is rook c1. Because you're setting up the fork, right? So you go rook c1 if they go over. Bishop back is perfectly fine, right? because you'd still be able to take. Yeah. I want to play this instantly, but on the third strike, I want to be careful. But I would play that instantly in a game, I'm sure. Because you're setting up knight capture c7, which is unstoppable, I'd say. Like, there's no way you could do that without... You couldn't stop knight x c7. Queen check. I think the problem with queen check is they have bishop d7. Because if they go bishop d7, you might be losing, actually. Because they also have knight c2. And rook c1 stops both. It stops knight c2 and allows knight x c7. It's literally trading who gets the rook for knight. That's why I appreciate that, Boring. You did help. I don't know how I missed bishop f3 for so long. That was right there. Right, my elo. What time control? And do you mean? I guess you mean online or over the board. And if you mean online, what time control? I appreciate that, Jenny. I've been playing chess for a while. Done a lot of puzzles. I think it's rook c1 though, but a lot of puzzles, a lot of games played. After this, we get this one wrong. Well, I'm not this one wrong. I'm gonna get this one right. I want to speak that into existence. But after we strike out, I'll show you how many games I've played on this account. And this is my backup account. I think I played a few, maybe a couple hundred, but I played a couple thousand on the other, and I played over the board a lot. I think it's rook c1 though. I'm almost certain because the queen can't move in. So the queen would have to go a5, bishop down. This is wrong, it's wrong. I'm not going to say it forever and second guess myself. I think it's rook c1, yeah. And then bishop down here attacking should be it. Because if the queen moves, it doesn't work, right? If you move your queen, you'd have to take. And then they could go bishop. You'd still win something, but that defeats the point of what you're trying. You're trying to win a piece. So let's see if this is right. It is correct. And now you can capture. Let's double check though. Is it a queen trap? No, it's not a queen trap they could take. Okay, it is just take here on c7. Alright, next, the queen's going to slide. That was pretty easy for 51, I'll say. That was not that hard. Is this a free bishop? No way. There's no way. Is that just free? They can't do anything. They can't get that back. There's no checkmate. There's no way. Maybe because of this, they're saying queen in. That could be the idea. There's a mate on qh5. But I feel like you could just go h4 though. And then if they took, then you would just take. Because the rook's there. There's no way. I feel like I'm getting trolled. I think this is a free bishop though. Capture, back, up. Take, rook takes. That has to be it. qd3. I was looking at qd3. But the problem is that, I see your point. If the queen could get like to, I guess c3, technically, or here, your idea. I agree with the idea. Black will sack the rook. If you take, you're saying this. Could you? Oh yeah, I guess you're right. You can't. Okay, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. You're right. But how do you do anything else though? Like, if that's the point, they always get sack. So, but there is mate in 2 ways, on G2 and on H1. H3 can't be it either. Like, they could just move up and then sack. Oh yeah, you know you can't, because then QXG3. No, you can't do that anyways. That wouldn't work. Can you... Wait, take... Yeah, oh, there's 3 mated ones. Yeah, you definitely can't take the bishop. There's mated one. Like here, once they capture, there's mated one a lot. If you keep the rook there. And then if you take the rook over, back, and then rook down. Okay. So instead, what can you do? Can you sack for 2 rooks, though? Like, I guess maybe you could sack for 2 rooks. Take, and if they took, you could take... And then a rook over, and then queen down. And if they take, that might be it. You get 2 rooks and a knight for the queen. Yeah, I think that is what it is. It is capture, take here. And right now they're down a bishop and a rook. Despite whatever happens, they're down bishop and a rook at that point. Rook over, queen down. And then... Yeah, because the other issues is with the king on this diagonal, they could take on g3. If the king's here, there's literally no more mate threat that could be on the board. And they're down. Yeah. I'm going to capture that. And then here. And then just queen down. Yeah. It's because you get all those pieces for the queen. That's what it is. Which is an interesting puzzle. But it took me a little bit. But the idea that there is that mate threat. Like if you don't take this and you just, I don't know. We never play that. But it was rook here to h1 is the problem. Or queen here. A lot of mated ones. But you get a lot of pieces. 2 rooks for a queen is generally equal. So 2 rooks and a knight, then it's really winning. Alright, so this next one, we got 52. 6 more for the record. Really, 7 more, because I did not do 50. I did not see bishop f3. But the rook is here on d5. Alright, I think, is it just bishop c4? There's no way. Really? You just go here, and then that's a win. That can't be it. This is the 55th puzzle. We have 2 incorrect. This is the 55th puzzle they're giving me. And it might be one of the easier ones. Because that's just checkmate. So they'd have to drop the rook. There's no check with the rook to get out of it. Is it that? There's no way it's that simple. Here. Oh, let me make sure I don't get kicked. No, we're good. Here. Rook captures f7. The problem with taking there, if they take, you go here. King e6, take. They're up the knight still. If this is wrong, I'll have to just accept my loss. I feel like it's nothing other than bishop c4. Yeah. I don't see anything else. And this is just free now. Although, can I win more? Because the knight is going to capture win this back. Can I win more is the question. I don't... Oh. Okay. Could you take bishop captures check over take? You could do that. And then capture king over, you take with check. The thing is I don't love just capturing, right? Because a knight takes, that's really not that bad. Like if the knight's here and then they move, then you take this and the rook takes, like I don't think you could, I could hold that. If you have 4 pawns, I think you can take on f7 check. And if the king slides back, well, the king would have to slide back. If you go king here, you're losing both pieces. So the king, you would take the rook, right? If you take, they would take. Bishop captures, go over, and you take this, and that is winning. Alright, this is kind of a risk, because this is a free rook on the board, but I don't think you can take it, because of knight captures in there, and you would take that back. Alright, I'm going to trust my gut. That's correct. Okay, that is correct. I have to close my eyes on that one, because I was like, it's a free rook on the board, I'm not taking it. I'm going to take care on d5, check. Now I do see it, and now this is free. Okay, I'll explain that, my thought process behind it. Because if you just take the rook, it's not even that much better. Like, yeah, you got a rook, but after can you take this? Yeah, you can take this. You can't really win. Like, it's good, yeah. If you were to look at the eval bar, you'd rather play white. But when you really think about it, they have enough pawns here. The king's safe. And you can never really get a pawn break, right? So you'd have to... It's not like you have a pawn here on a2 and b2. And if these 2 pawns are here, then it'd be a little bit different. Although you still might be losing, because they'd be 4 passers. But you get the point. Because you can never make forward progression without trading them, it'd be a knight in 2 versus a rook in the end game. So I don't see... Yeah, that's why I didn't go for that. Alright, so this next one, but the bishop is just winning. Oh, and boring? I don't think it's a win. Yeah, it's just not a winning end game, I don't think. Because the knight in 4 is really the same amount of material as the rook in 2, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, the queen's going to slide down. This one's harder. This one's harder than the last 2. We kind of got some easier ones. 52 and 53. This is, I can already see it's more difficult. If you go qf5, which is my first thought here, they have a block or a king move. Now the queen does look trapped, I'll say. Like, it's just, if you could get rook over and not get it taken, the queen is stuck. Which is why I'm first going here, looking at that. But if you do it this way, take, or no, not take, check, and whatever they do, like block or move. So let's say they move for whatever reason. You capture, king up. Like, how do you get the queen to be trapped? Would be the issue. And then if you check and go rook f1, trying to get out the way of that being free knight back. I think it would have to be qf5, and I don't see the rest of it because nothing else makes sense. Like you're down a piece. No, you have a rook for a piece. You're not down a piece. Okay, so maybe you just have to maintain the material you have. The problem would be if you just maintain dxc3, dxc3. They could move like bishop b4 check and then rook d1 checkmate. So you need to be somewhat aggressive, and that's why I think it's qf5. I just don't see the rest of it. Queen f5, they move. You take bishop, they take rook. King d2. Okay. But where... That can't be it either, because the rook's just free in that line. Is the queen trapped if you go... If you sack the rook on h1, bishop captures, knight f1, they can only go queen h4 legally. So if you could stop h4, if you sack the rook, knight f1, qh4 is the only legal move. Could you stop that from being a legal move? Or not legal, could you protect that square with this next move and then sack the rook with rook h1? Is that possible? Is that possible? Rook sacks, bishop takes, knight f1. Oh, would it be the same thing though if you just went there immediately? Yeah, I guess you're still guarding the square though. I'm trying to put a piece there so the queen can't move there, but you're already guarding it. So is it here first then? And then they move, and then here? And then that? Really? No way, that's it. Knight back. My queen check. I don't think you can check first. I don't think you can check first because the queen is guarding that. Yeah, if you go here and they move, take. I think it's knight f1. They could only go queen h4. Yeah. Because here if they go up, you have rook g3. So you'd go here, they'd go up, and then queen f5. And now you can do that. Alright, let's see. Is this correct? Knight f1. The queen can't move, rook g3. Knight f1, queen up. I was overconfident. I was like, rook here, they sack, and then here. I could just do that for the first move. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But, or it took so long to think of it. Here, attacking. I'm just going to go for it. If it's wrong, it's wrong. I'm going to have 2 wrong already, so I could be here forever worried about getting it wrong. It is here. Yes. And now rook g3 is my thought. Let's double check that's right. But I believe it's just rook g3. Yeah, if this is right, it has to be rook g3. Yeah, if that part of it's right. And then you want to take this triple check. It looks like a free bishop there. Okay. Alright, get it correct. The king's going to move. Ooh. This is a hard one. Oh, wait. Let's go through some of the moves that you guys said. We can look at that. Knight f5. So knight f5. I don't think it works. Wait, why doesn't it work? I think the problem is it just doesn't attack anything. I don't think it's that. Oh, yeah, no, it's this idea with this. Yeah, so no, you can't do that. You have to do something that's aggressive. Like the idea would be, and now you're just not attacking anymore. So I see knight f5. Knight f1, then queen check. Oh, yes. Joshua had it. Knight f1, qh4, queen f5. qh4 first. Oh, qh4, qf5. Oh, you're saying, okay. Oh, you guys had it there in the chat. Oh, like 10. It was a while ago. Alright, good eye from you guys. Let's go to this next one here on 55. Alright, the queen goes down here to e3. So what we see right now is c2 is weak, right? We have the knight and the queen there attacking it. So we have to be aware of that. I'll make sure I don't get this puzzle and the stream ends randomly. So I have to keep checking. Alright, the queen can go down to e3 check. Is there a way to win something is the question. What I'd love to do is take this with check and win the knight. So that's the position we want to get into. If you could take on c5, attacking the knight and the king at the same time. So like if you're on qd6, the puzzle's easy. So if you go queen to e5, qe5, they could move their king. They wouldn't go towards your pawns, right? That doesn't make any sense. So they'd have to go. Oh, I think I kind of see the idea. Because if their king is here, well, how was the position? I say, why couldn't you have done this previously? But if the king is here, there's a check, and they have to go up, and then you take here on d5. So I found the final move you have to make. It's like a qd6 check when the king's on h6. So the idea now is get the king on h6, which is why I don't think it's qe3, because then they could just go there, right? If you go qe3, they can't go to h5, which would and you don't have access to d6. So that gives me the qe5. The problem with queen e5 is if the king drops back, you can't go qd6 now because of king f7. And if you just go up, back, and then back, you're just repeating. So I don't think that's it. Could you go queen to e7? Queen e7. But that's like the same thing. They could just move their king back to g6. I should probably draw arrows. If you go here, they go back. If you move here, they go down. So the point is you want to get the king here and force it back. But I don't have to be stuck to that idea. This I don't think is it though. Because if they just go back, there's no way you could corral the king. I don't think that's possible. So I feel like h4 is forced to be taken. I saw that for a quick second and I didn't go through it. Let's see if you're right. h4, take up. But no, take. Could they go over though? Oh, they can't go over. Oh wait, no, yeah, it is h4. I'm pretty sure. You're probably right. If you give this check and then go in, where's the mate? Queen here, over, queen down, here. Where is the mate though? Oh, check here, and then you can go up, and then they have to go down. And then, but you can't, that might be the only thing though. Where's the check? Because if you go here, taking I agree they can't do. Because you go g3 up, check. Thank you, Yume. I'm a little more professional than usual. I had a presentation earlier in the day, and I have not changed since. But yeah, more professional than usual. h4 it does look like a good idea. I just don't see the rest. Because even if they took it and you go g3, can they not go back there? And then if you go up, over, up, down, and the king's safe there on h4 at the end. I think. I could be wrong though, but that's what I'm thinking. Because if you say h4, king x h4, g3, they could just go king h5. And like whatever you do, it has to be forcing, right? Or you're going to lose on c2. So once the king's on h5, if you push g4, now you're giving this up. And if you give this check, they could go down now. Oh, maybe you could go back here to f3. But then you could go here, check, over. It's just a repetition. And I don't think that, yeah, that's a repetition at the end, right? If you do boom, 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 up. But maybe it's not up after. It's say here. If you move the queen, now they can go backwards in any direction. Would be the issue. Man. What is it? QE. This is my thought. I think it's QE5. H4, I'm seeing, is the consensus in chat. I don't see either of them. I don't see either of them working. Like, my idea doesn't work because they can just move their queen back. Which is why I think it is... Oh, maybe... Okay, check here. Check. Can you let them go down? Here. But they go down again. Here. I mean, you could repeat in both lines. But one of them has to be a win. That's the only difference. And I'm not... Neither of them I'm seeing the win there. What's the line disagree h4? So for h4, the reason I'm not seeing that it works, because if you go here and they take, right, it does look really good. But after g3, there's no, like, mate combination, right? So if they move king, I think they have to go king back, right? Or wherever they go back with the king. Let's say h4, that might make more sense. If you move your queen in here, they could go g5, right? And the whole point is it has to be mate or you lose there. QF5. So here, take QF5. Oh, okay. You're trying to stop that. Now would that work? Oh no, you might. No, you're right. You're right. Because if you go here, take QF5. You're stopping that. And now G3 is checkmate. So I just did the line rock. Yeah, you're right. If you go QF5 after, it should be winning. Check. Okay, what if here and then king over? QF5 would then be checkmate because back and then QG4. Yes. So then here they'd have to take, and now you don't push. That wouldn't work. But you could go here instead. Take. But then if you go QF5, they could take on C2 though. That might be the issue. Yeah, I don't know. That could be it. My heart's not in that one. I might have to get it wrong. Because I don't see, I feel like it'd be a repetition at the end once the king's already down. Because QF5 doesn't work. Oh, would it work if you, okay, here, take, check, up, QF5, up. Yeah, I think it's just too slow. But if it's, I'm not saying it's wrong. I just don't see it. So let's see this next one. QF5, G3. The thing of QF5 is they could just take on C2 though. That's why I don't. Like if they take on C2, the queens are off. It's probably a pawn move though. Because QE5 I just don't see. I want it to work so badly. It doesn't work. Like it's no way this is a draw. Like if you were to do that. So I don't think it's here. Here. Now if they go over, check, down mate, or if down, check, and then that's mate there. So here, take, up, down, down, QE2 at the end, and then here, over here, take. How would you win that though? Like if you go up, can't they go back? Man, this is why it's a hard puzzle. This is like a 3,000 rated puzzle. Everything seems like there's a way they can get out. Oh, here we go. We have the puzzle. Now I don't have to sit in angst. Alright, there we go. There we go. We have that. Alright. F4, G3, H4, QF5, QG5. Okay, F4. What are you saying? So after F4, I'm assuming you're saying they take, right? They trade, don't you? If you trade, I think they'd be winning because they have the A pawn here, and the king. These pawns are weak once you push them, right? So okay, F4 king takes, and then you said G3 check, okay, and this is the only legal move, king back there, F3, and then after you're saying pawn to H4, it's forced mate, really. The H4 line after C trait, you get C5 first. I think the problem though is they could just go A5, and now your king has to slide, and they could even just take one of these and go back to that. F4 probably is the move though. H4, F4, and then H4. Alright, we'll trust, because I have no idea. But I just don't see it. Like I want to play a move I see. I see the vision with F4. I do. If F3 you have QE2 mate. Oh, okay, so here, take, here, QE2 mate. Ah, yes, you're correct. Now I see it. That is mate. Okay, you give this check, king takes, G3 force down, Queen E2. I saw QE2, but I did not see it was checkmate for some reason. Yeah, you're guarding. It's the right triangle. The king can't go anywhere. Yes, that's correct. Good eye. It took me a while to see that one. G3 check. They have to go down, and then QE2. So we're 2 away from the record, but I have to get 2 more because I got carried on 2 of them. So we have to get 2 higher. No, this is okay. Here, over. Oh, and then H4 is what you're saying. I get it. Here, back, H4, and then over, and then check, and then if they push you, oh, I get it. G3, and this is what they do instead. Wow, very nice, very nice. I want to show you what I was looking at for H4 though. Why I didn't think it was H4. Because if you push here, I think it's just a draw. Yeah, it's just a draw. After they capture, it's a repetition. even if the king gets all the way down, you can't mate them. I mean, the eval bar might be enough, but that's what I was looking at. F4 though, that's what I didn't see. Very good eye for everyone who called. A few people said F4 too. Shout out to you guys. Better than me at that one. Alright, let's go to this next puzzle though. Dude, that took me forever, bro. I just couldn't see it. I was so set on QE5. Alright, the king's here on F8. It's looking like it would be some type of sacrifice. But knight takes, bishop takes, so no. Probably not. There's a fork there in the way. If you take this, maybe you just take the knight though, honestly. Take here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can just take this. I'm like 99% sure. Because they can't capture back with the queen. I take back with the pawn. But you would take that with check. Or even here, take. Queen captures, queen takes, knight fork. And you be up the exchange. And the problem is nothing here works because there are two pieces. Alright, let's see. This is 56. Can we get it right? Yes. Now the question is this part what I'm saying is right? I think so. Because nothing else works. And if that part works, this would have to be similar to that other puzzle where we went bishop a3 with the dark square bishop. If the first move is right, the second move would have to be the move. Because nothing else is possible, right? If you go there, just take. Now here is an interesting, that is possible. I'll take that back. You could take immediately. My only hesitation with taking immediately is king over. And then it's like, yeah, I guess that, what's the difference? Yeah, there is a difference because it wouldn't be this part of the puzzle. What is the difference? If you take here, check, king over, queen takes, check, queen takes, knight takes, king takes. Versus what I'm saying, which is capture, capture, Are they not both forced? Knight g6, you third in QE8. Wait. You're saying here over check. I don't. Wait, what are you saying? Knight g6, knight x rook. I'm thinking it's this. So you guys are saying it's not taking there. There's qf7 mate. After, can't they just take that? You're saying take this then is what I'm assuming, right? You go over, but you don't take that with check though. Oh, you're saying, oh, I get what you're saying. And then that's made if the queen moves. Ah, I get it. That is different. That is the difference. You win the rook for free this time. Capture. And then king over. And now you could take. And I was saying the queen could just take back, but it can't because of qf7. That is definitely a difference. That's not the same thing. Knight capture. If they move their king over, that really doesn't work because of take. Here, over. Capture with the knight. But how do you keep the knight, though? That would be my question. I guess you could go queen there. Let's say take, over, capture. If they go back, I guess you just move your knight back out the way. So yeah, it's probably this, yeah. And then here, if they move, there's checkmate on f7. Now their knight slides in. Do you take this and move your king over is the question. I would guess you move your king over. Because if you take this, they could take. And then this knight is trapped. Yes. Alright, so this next one. I'll show that. Because it doesn't show the actual checkmate at the end there. The problem is, once you take, if you were to do what I said, which is not even, it's still winning, but it's not as winning. Here, and then here, then here. You don't, oh no, this is not winning. Never mind. I didn't see that they had two pieces for it. You have to do it the other way anyways. That would have saved me some time. If I actually did the material count, that you don't have an extra, okay. Anyways, the knight takes, go over, capture. If the queen captures, this is checkmate, which is the problem. Alright, let's go to this next one here. 57. This is a fake 57, I'm not gonna lie. This is that's like 3 puzzles now. But queen here to g4, check. If they go over, that's free. But I would imagine it's not just winning a knight. at this level. Like, it's no way it's just winning the knight there. We attack with g4. The king moves, take. Is there a mate idea? Maybe not. Maybe not. Why doesn't he take your queen? Oh, you can't take the queen because of the, This is a check here, right? This is a... So they have to react to the king attack. And if they take that, you would take the queen there. That's the problem with that one. But yeah, good question. Because I did not explain that to any extent. But I think it is here. Check. And they move, then you take. Is there any discovered anything? Take over. Take. Yeah, I think it's just here. And you capture. There's no checkmate. That's not winning. Yeah, I think you just take the knight. Oh, I get it. I get it. Because this is a repetition. So they push up. If you just... This is checkmate, right? If you take it, take over, over, you just repeat the entire position forever. If you take here, it's the same problem. You need to get... So this is check. They move. Is there any check after that? That's what it is. It's figuring out how to get this to not be repeating. Queen down, there's checkmate. Check, king moves. The queen can't return to the center because of the pawn there on d3. Could you check here instead? They move. Oh, yeah, it's queen here, yes. And then here, and then qg4. And then you can slide down and take. And now you do this qg4 and then take. Oh, no, wait, no. You would not take with the queen. That's sneaky. Because if you do this over and you take with the queen, they have rook g1. So you take, you check over, take with the pawn here. If they move rook over, you go back in for checkmate. So they couldn't respond. That would be the issue there. So queen here. And now they're setting that up, which is why it matters the next move. If you took this way, it's losing. But taking this way, it stops the draw. Well, okay, the only thing I don't see, though, is now if you take... Because the king can't get mated on h1. They could go rook g1. What would you do? The knight couldn't move because the queen's hanging. Okay, let me think this for a second. Think about that for a second. If you take the pawn, they have rook g1. You have no more checks, right? That's the main problem there. Because you can't go qf4. But if the moves I made, they were under the impression that this would work. So it has to be something similar. So you take on g6, they go rook g1. Queen f4 is you lose the queen, right? You can't play qf4. Is there another check? No other check right now. You take on g6, rook slides over. You can't go qh5, you lose the queen. You can't go king f6, you lose the queen. There's just not a check anymore that you could play. And you can't sack the queen because you can't trap their queen. There's no way that's it. And then h7 still checkmate. So you take rook over. If you want qf5, rook captures. And that's winning, and they could repeat if they wanted to. So let's see. Let's do every legal move. That's what I like to do sometimes. So this would you'd have to take, right? Because you took with the queen. Rook slides over. That's definitely not it, right? So we know it's here, and then rook is here. So now every legal move for the queen, not it. So you can't take the rook in that line. You can't go there, can't go there, can't go back, can't take. I wish there was a way you could sack and get the rook over, but that's way too many moves. Knight can't slide in. Oh no, the knight can slide in. Oh my god, the knight can move. Yes, that's what it is, knight e5. Because take rook over. Now knight here to e5. If they take, it's knight captures fork. That's insane. I think that's what it is. You go here after. So it'd be take rook over, knight e5. They can't do it. Yeah. Oh, they don't make you... They don't make you find that. You just have to take the pawn. Okay, let's show that here. That's crazy. What's going on, Eliza? What's going on, Chess? Smitty, how you doing, man? It is 95. That's crazy. What's going on, Kobe? How you doing? Let's see. QB5. Let's see. I see a lot of 95. That's y'all saw that. How did y'all see that so quick? But yeah, here. Check. And then they don't make you solve this far. But the problem here is you have two moves. You can go QF5 too. Really? Huh. I would not have thought you could do that. But you can. Rook G7. Well, this is better though. If you play 95. This is the best move. Because if they take and you go here and then that, which is why it works. Alright, go to this next one here. 57. So I have 54 and a half. I kind of saw the other one, but the Bishop F3 one, I get no credit for it. And then the F4 one, no credit. So I might get 54-ish right now. Let's go to this next one. Their bishop's here on E3. Alright, this looks like a free pawn there on B2. And a free rook. But it's never that simple, right? If you take, there's no sacrifices. Here does nothing. I really feel like it is just this. And if they go here, you take, they go over. I guess they could check you forever. So maybe not, then maybe not. If you push the pawn forward, that doesn't work. Say capture, if the queen moves. You can't even go here, really. Is it because you could, maybe because the rook is always trapped. That might be the difference. So if you go here, there might be an intermediate move after QA6. If you go 97, I guess that honestly worked too. Because they can't take, that's why it worked. So say here, and then 97, and then QB7. And then you could just go rook C8 or D8, but there's clearly a difference between the two of them, right? They both wouldn't work. So take QA6. You can't take the rook or QXC6 is honestly losing. You'd have to go 97, and then they can't go they just can't go QB7 because the queen's there. So yeah, I think this is it. And then just knight here. Is that really just two moves? No, it must be more complicated than that. Because you can't move the king. You even can move the king though. No, you can't. No. Because once you take, then QB7. So yeah, I think it's just 97. Guarding there on C6. Here, guarding that. They can't go in. There's no check. I think that's it. That is correct. And now this is free, right? Can the knight move and trap the queen? I don't think so. And now this is the part where I was a little stuck. Is it here or here? If I'm guessing, it'd be here. Because after, so say you go rook C, but you could still do both of those though. I don't get the difference. If you go rook C8, they move their bishop in. That's the idea, is bishop C5. I guess you could go king D8, and then if take, bishop takes. But why doesn't this work if you move here? Oh, maybe because bishop C5 and then... Oh, you're too slow. Yeah, you need king D7. Because if you move here first... But once you move there, here, if you move this, that's almost a mate. It's a draw at least. You have to go back and forth. So I think it's rook C8 instead of D8. Because it's here, then they move, and then you go king D8. The king's active if they take, bishop takes, and there's no more checks. Alright, let's hope that's right. No! No. We were right there. Okay, so I guess it's rook D8 then. Why does that work? Why does that work? What is the difference between the two? So what if they go here? QXA2. This is not a... Oh, you can just go king F8. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm trying to keep the pawn. You don't need to keep the pawn. That's the problem. Rook C8 runs into F5? No, I did not see F5. Oh, QB3. It's saying QB3. The queen's trapped. Why is the queen not trapped on the previous move? If you go here, can they no longer go QB3? Knight. Oh, I would have never seen that. It's because you have to go knight F5. I would have never found that one. Alright, let's go then restart. That's insane. That puzzle is 31-24. That is crazy. You have to see that you can just go knight f5. Who's seeing that, man? Like, I am astonished. Knight here to f5 is just the idea after qb3. And it's saying here. And the difference, why is the other one winning? Why is this not winning then? Here, oh, you can't go knight f5. Well, no, you can go knight f5. I'm a little confused. If you do this, so rook d8, it's only -2 versus, and they go qb3, and then now you go d4. Oh, your rook is guarding, but can't they? I don't know. I don't get this. I'm going to confuse myself. If you understood that, I'm very good for you. I'm very confused on that one. Let's restart though. You got to 57. I got to like 54. I'll say. I did not do most of those, or not most of them. 3 of the harder ones there. I know this next one they take. We want to get the first 20, hopefully pretty easily. That'd be the go here. All right, this is going to be checkmate. We had a puzzle like that in the last one. Rook down, mate in 2. And we're going to try and speed through the easier ones. I get any of them wrong, I'll just restart. But I hope I don't get any of the 400 rated puzzles wrong. Take here on F1 after just doing a 3000 rated puzzle correctly. This, I say that, it's a little iffy here. Check over, I guess you could go here. Yeah. And now rook over. Alright, we got the first 10 now. Alright. First 11, this is a mate because it's not really opposition, but it's functioning like opposition. This is free. Is this is better though. Yeah. It's not free. I guess I could have taken back. And then you go down here, check, and now you promote to a queen. Can you promote to a knight now? Let's just get the queen. Alright, next one, they push the pawn forward here. If you take the king moves, that remove the defender anywhere. Oh, you could remove the defender this way though. Yeah, now that is a free queen. Alright, next one. Central. The queen, the only thing with that though, you can't get the queen. It's because you have to play d5. That's like 10 moves. Like that's, the queen's still stuck. The queen was stuck in both. The difference it seemed was because you have the rook there, d5, now you could play. Maybe you could, oh, I guess you could have sacked the rook and then, oh, I get it now. I don't see it anymore, but I get it. It's because if you're on c8, if you push d5, then the bishop could just take. But if you're on d8, if the bishop just took, then you could sack and then take, and then here, and then you already won the rook in the corner, so you get the bishop back. Oh, I guess that's not that difficult. But, I mean, it's difficult, but it's not that. I thought it was crazier than that. But check, over. You could discover check and win the queen in the corner. Here, I didn't make you go that far. Take this. King slides over. Then you take the bishop. Here. For mate after the knight moves. I got the first 15 in this one. Queen down, queen over. Then it'll make you find that. It pushes the pawn forward here. This looks free. Knight here also looks pretty good. Attacking both of these pieces, but they do have that check. So I don't know because of that if that's it. But it would have to be this, because here then you go up. Yeah, because you can't just take. It's probably not. It's knight here. It has to be knight there. Capture, take. Do you just sack the g7? That seems like this is not a 17th puzzle. There's only 1,000 rated. But if you go up, yeah, I mean you must have to take that. All right, next they're gonna take here on e6. Queen check, rook down, bishop capture, and that's a free rook. I got the first 19. It's because they can't stop you from queening. Yeah, and that's fine. You just go king h1. The king can't slide over in time. And now you get a queen. All right, next puzzle. You know there has to be a mate here, right? Because of the way it's set up. The bishop also can't move. Couldn't you sack the bishop on the last one? Let's see. Could you sack the... Oh, we just did that one. 2 puzzles ago. Is this the puzzle? Oh, yeah. Can you sack the bishop? Do you mean if you mean bishop captures e3, I don't think so. Is this what you mean? 17? 17. Wait. 19, 18, 17. Oh, this one. Okay. Can you sack the bishop? So here, let's go to the analysis board. Knight here. Do you mean sack it here? Are you saying bishop captures f7? I mean f2? Is this the one you're saying right here? Capture and then queen takes? Or is it a different one in this line? Because this is 17. You said not this one? Or do you mean not this one to the other one I was doing? After 95, let's see. 95, let's see. Pawn push. 95 here. Queen slides. Oh, you're saying here. It's saying after the king takes. I guess if you take here, then this is hanging. So then you would have to go knight back, right? That may be the problem. Is that you drop the piece and then g7 still hanging, and the bishop's the piece that could win the rook in the corner. So like you have to exchange. You have to let them take on h8. I think is that puzzle. Takes. If queen takes. Oh, if queen takes first. Okay, let's see. Over. I keep taking off the analysis board. Here, bishop takes, queen takes. And it's saying this is a draw, basically, after taking on c4. Is that what you're saying for the line? That the queen slides back and the knight captures? I think so. I think that's... You're up 2 pawns. Yeah, I'm surprised it's only 0.62. You're up a decent amount of material. That is a little confusing. You would be up 2 pawns there. Alright, this should just be mate in 1. Rook a1. And they can't move up at all. Yeah, you got the first 20 here. Their pawn's going to come down. King back or king up? It's an interesting choice. I feel like it has to be king back, though. Like, you have to... It has to be back. I don't actually know, though. If you go up, they can go king down. And then knight in, pawn down. But knight check. Down. You just repeat. Yeah, you have to go this way. You're going to capture this piece of material. Sack this piece of material. You're going to win the game in a pawn in a game. This is a mate idea with g3 and then rook here to b1 checkmate. I guess c1's checkmate. This is mate in 1 here on e8. This next one, it looks like a Greek gif. Knight's going to move, queen up, and they're going to sack their queen. As you can see, the back rank's open. So bishop a6, and then rook down here for checkmate. Got the first 25 here. Okay. Check first, and then rook down, and that's checkmate. The rook's going to slide. If you capture this, I don't know. If you take this, because you can't go down, right? The rook's guarding. So it would have to be capturing on d5 instead. Then you would set this up, because the king can't move, right? Then you just go queen down, that's checkmate. I believe you capture. No! What, you don't take there? No. What do you do? Oh, rook over first. Ah, well, I want to restart, because there's no way I get to the record if I have one in the first 30 wrong. Really, the first 40 wrong. You just go there immediately. Okay, we're going to take. We were at 25. See how quick we can get back there. We have the white pieces. Okay. Dude, I'm already a little... Okay, take. Yeah. Next, rook's going to go down. Checkmate on the back rank. Got the first 3. Impressive. We're going to take this for mate. The first 5. The first 6. The first 7 there. This is going to sack the queen on f8. Now checkmate on f7. It's checkmate here on h7. Got the first 10. Queen down here to d8. That's the first 11. Alright, the idea here, you have a check. The queen can't slide anywhere useful that I can see. What's my record? My record is 57. 57 is the record. So anything 58 plus, I'll be feeling good. We got to 57, although I did 54 of them though. The chat definitely helped out on 3 heavily. The other ones I was able to get. Yeah, here to h5, check, over. Am I stuck on an easy puzzle? No way. Maybe I am. Let me think about this. Check. Over, check. I really don't see this. This can't be that hard though. What is the idea? There's nothing that's hanging. There's nothing they have that's hanging right now. I really don't know. I might have to restart again. This is insane. I might have. Okay. Okay. Let me lock in. If you give a check, they block, right? You can't sack the rook. Taking the pawn, I imagine, is not it. So that seems kind of early for that. Is it real? There's no way I don't see this. Check, and then you force the queen trade? That has to be the idea. Oh, yeah, you won the bishop. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Checkmate in one. Alright, next. Queen down doesn't work. They can move out the way. There's another one, though. Like, why am I so confused? Here, take, that doesn't work. So it has to be here. Once they move the king out the way, that's where I'm... No, you can't go there. Bishop. Dude, I've lost my touch. Here doesn't work. Is the queen trapped? The queen's not trapped. Oh, the rook can take. Yeah, there we go. Alright, next. Here. Sack there on c8 and we get the win. Rook over is mate because the pawn is pinned there. That's checkmate. Alright, there we go. Here we go. Here we go. You can move rook over because the bishop guards that. It's starting to click again. Rook c1. Bishop and... Oh, bishop here and then knight d6 checkmate. Alright, there. Okay, okay. Starting to feel normal again. Rook's going to take check. Rook down. qd4. And that's a deflection. Rook's going to capture king over. Rook over. Then you could take check. Yeah. Take. And you could take with the bishop check there. Alright, the queen's going to go back. This is a checkmate in 1. Yes. Alright, at the first 21. We're almost back to where we were at. This is mate in 2 that I see. You're going to capture here on c2. Alright, the queen's going to go all the way down here. The knight's guarding the escape square. Same idea. Sack on d8. And now we have rook up. Oh, this is actually like a mate idea, isn't it? Rook here, they're going to move down. Rook over. That's, yeah, that's checkmate. No, bro. I'm not locked in. I cannot believe, I apologize. This is crazy. We got 2 wrong in the first 30. 2 straight times. I need to take my time in the 30s. Clearly, we cannot speed through to catch back up. I'm going to take here on d3. Rook down here. Alright, this, at least it's not in the first 10. We have the under 1,000 puzzles on lock. Not that it's that useful to me, but I do have those on lock. It's the 1600s that I'm struggling with right now. Alright, we have the first 10. Okay. Let's just, first 11. If I don't see it instantly, I'm not going to make a move. This is instant. Bishop b7. That's checkmate. Alright, this is also checkmate in 1. All the mate in 1s I'll just play. But if it's not mate in 1, I'm going to have to think for a second. Queen takes. That's almost the same thing. I'd say, yeah, this is because if they push, you take. They have to go up and then queen down. So this is basically a mate in 1 with capturing in the center. And I go here. You have 2 rooks on the back rank. 2 rooks. Alright. This idea. You can't sack your queen, right? You could take the rook. Because here, take over, bishop captures would be the idea with that one. So rook xg3. Yeah. Queen in. You can't sack down. You have to go q to e1 at the end. Your knight's going to slide forward. The queen is just free. Because if they take, rook captures. So queen is just free here. Rook's going to take. Queen takes. Okay. First 17. Queen down here is checkmate. They can't move forward at all after qc8. Alright, next up. The rook can slide down. If they move rook king forward, you have bishop g4. And then bg4 should be checkmate. Alright, next up. They take that. This is mate in 1, whatever happens. You control the file, and then q to g7 should be a win. So check. And then that's a win. Alright, first 20. First 20. That's been a struggle for me these last couple. Well, bishop captures b5. Yeah. I think you can take that on b5 and then q to d7. I think so. I think so. Check. What'd you say? When kept feeling an easy for an hour. Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like. I don't blame. Yeah, I've been doing it for way too long. I should already be back up at the 40s. I don't know. I missed way too many easy ones. But that's checkmate. We're locked in now, though. I mean, I was locked in. I was just playing bad. Now we're locked in and we're seeing things again. But C4, it opens up the pen, and that's a free knight, right? So that's what I'm thinking. And someone sent a donation. If you're still here, much appreciated. I did not see I got a coin. So thank you. I missed that. How long have you been playing chess? I've played for around 12 years. Around 12 years. This is going to be free. It was on and off, though. Like, I played adolescence, like 5 to 14, and then I did not play all of high school. Check. This is going to be mate. Alright, we're finally back. We're at 25 again. Okay. We're at 25 again. This is what we were here for. Knight check, knight c3. Can we do it? Can he do it? Check, please. Alright, and we get the rook. Okay. This is where we were at before we first made this mistake. Now, can we get to 30? That's the real indicator. Can we get to 30? I think it's rook f8, rook c7, king g7. They can't move the bishop. That's free. There we go, there we go. Drip fog. What is drip fog? There you go here, check, and then queen captures here on h5. That should be checkmate. Here's the follow there, Markush. And you take here for mate. Alright. Feeling good, feeling good. We are at 27. Better than we were the last two runs, somehow. Alright, this one I think is rook d1. King slides over, bishop to g4. They drop back, and then there's a check. This is definitely the first move. Yeah. And now you have this mate. Because the bishop, or now here. That's not mate, but the bishop here now would be mate. They can't move to the file. They can't go up. Can't take, can't go back. Yeah. Bishop g5 is checkmate. Oh, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. I thought it was a compliment, but I wasn't sure. The knight goes in. Oh, that does not work. That doesn't work at all. You can't take. If you capture, no. Knight here. There's nothing at what I'm looking at. All right, if you go f6, kicking the bishop back. Is there a knight f4 at the end of it? And then Bills, appreciate those likes there on TikTok. Closing in on 6,000. f6 is my first thought here. Oh, wait, can you take here? Oh, you can take here. Yeah, and then you take here. And then right now I'm up a piece. Could you now you go f6 attacking, I think. I know this next one. That was hard for 30. But I was able to get that one. Rook here to e8 check. Does not work. That does not work. Because they could go rook over. And that wouldn't. Oh, no. That would work. Well, at least this part. Check. If they went over, you would take, and that's checkmate. So it's here. They'd have to move their king over. That's the part where I'm stuck at. If the king moves over, what can you do? The king, so rook here to e8. The king goes to d1. Alright, fine. I'm following that. Can you take that for free? My only issue if there is take, rook down, you just lose the game because the king can't move. But you have to find a way to win some material back because you're down. A knight for a rook, and it's not looking good either. So rook here to e8 check is the first idea. But once the king moves over, none of it is easy. Like, there's no more check. There's no more check. There is no more checks. If you go rook here to e8, king to g1, you can't take. Is there a fork somewhere? No, the knight must have to be involved, and I'm missing with the knights involved. Capture, rook down, yeah, whatever you do, that's just a mate on f8 at the end there. Here, take, that's checkmate. Knight back, so it has to be, that's why I think it has to be here. You have to check them. No other move is a check. So I think it has to be rook to e8. But after rook e8, here I see knight down. But after here and king over, I don't see how that would be that beneficial. But it has to be this first, yeah. They have to, really, I'm definitely missing it then. They have to slide their queen over. And now, if you were to capture, then they can go rook here to b8. So instead, you can give this check, they slide, check. How, you need to take this rook. You need to take this rook with the idea. But it would have to be queen here, because capturing, rook down, you just lose. Okay, I have to see that. Because I got it right. I don't know why. I appreciate that, Hilly. Oh, man, I hope you have a good day, man. Thank you for the compliment, the kind words there. But yeah, rook to e8. Why can they not go over? Yeah, that was really kind. But yeah, the knight. Oh, 94. The queen can go down now. And can't go down. You can take this. 94 is what I missed. Okay. This next one, we got the first 31. We're now 29 away from the goal. This is an interesting mate. I think it's check over, and then pawn here to b4. Checkmate. That should be it. And you can't go here, they go over. You can't go over, they take. But this is legal. Alright. A sack of the rook and a rook to a8. It will be for this one. And that's checkmate. You're guarding the escape. Bishop sacks. Knight here. Well, it has to be sack. And then it has to, I'm guessing it's knight here. Okay, cool. We're at 34. This is a good spot. This is a good spot. Now, it's still not, it's not gonna get easier. But I'd rather be here than where I've been at the last 2 runs, where I've got one wrong before 30. That's not a good thing either. Now, rook to e1 is the first thought. Giving that check, and they move their king. Oh, they can't go king. I'm like, king e7, king f6, king c6. But what I missed is the queen's here on g4. So they can't go king to d7 anyways. Now I do think it's rook e1 completely. Like, it would have to be. Because they came off the bishop where the queen hangs. They move their king over. Now bishop h6. Yeah, that's it. This has to be it. And then you could go... I mean, really, you could sack either piece, couldn't you? Oh, no, you can't sack you can't move queen. Not because of take. Like, you would still be able, but it's because you go here, now queen back loses. It's the same concept, though. I'll show that after. But I think this is it. Yeah. And then you take here, and you deflect. And take. Okay, I'll show that. Because that's an interesting checkmate idea. They have to try and stop there. What's going on, Rob? How you doing, bro? How are the finals looking for you, man? A fellow streamer and a college attendee. But we go here to h6, take. The problem is if they here, if they go over, this is checkmate, right? That's the reason they have to blockade so much. And queen down, it doesn't work because take. You can take still. Wait, you can still take, but they have qg7. And now the deflection doesn't quite work. You still win the queen, it's just a losing endgame, right? You just be down a rook. Because right now you're down a knight for a rook, you'd have to take a piece. You're down a rook for nothing. So that's the difference there. Pretty good applying. Okay. This is your sophomore year, right? 2. Check over, checkmate, I think. QB4, QC4. Up, over, over. They can't stop that. I mean, they could go. I guess they could go down. Well, maybe they can't stop that. Check over here. Check down here. Check over here. Oh, then checkmate. Yeah. You could checkmate on c2. Alright, so this next one, they're going to take the pawn here on f4. Man. And what'd you say your major? You're taking a hard major, right? I know it's something biology and neuroscience. I know it sounded crazy when you said it. But if knight captures on f4, you lose the knight for free. And how have the streams been going? I haven't been able to catch one recently. Oh, queen h3 forces a mate idea, right? Because you can mate on g2. They stop and then mate on f3. That's... Yes. Alright, move their knight here. Queen up. King over. Take. If they... Yeah. That's probably it as well. Yeah, there's nothing they can do in response. Alright, the king's going to move out the way. If you give a check here on h1... Indeed. You found that as well. Give this check. King moves. Take. Back. Rook down. Up. And you take on c1 at the end. Alright, that's a 39. The queen's going to move here to b4. Oh, there's a discovered attack. The problem is this is an option as well. They can move their queen in. Is there any way... Oh, no. That wouldn't work. Rook captures. QE1. You could go knight G1. Knight F2. Rook XF2. Yeah, you can still do this. No. No. You could not do that. Why was I wrong there? Why was I wrong? We got 40 wrong. We're not going to restart at 40. You sack the queen. Oh, wow. Wow, I was even close. Okay, let's go to the next one. Alright, got 40 incorrect. Gotta lock in from here on out. Only 2 more wrong we can get. Okay. Rook check. It's not instilling confidence in me. Rook check does not feel like it's correct. Could you take setting up mate? Maybe it's just taking. Yeah, I guess that's forced, isn't it? But I don't know. Do I trust my gut? I'll trust it. I think you just take here. Yeah. Alright, pawn's going to go forward. Knight in check. They took, you would take their check. And then up. So here, they move over. Oh no, here they can only go here, right? That's what I don't understand about it. Because they can take, this is a check if they take your rook. So your rook has to move, clearly. So knight's going to go in check, they slide over. How do you move your rook to a square that is not in the way? Like, that's the problem. Like, if they just take that with check, you have to react, and they take your rook completely for free. Alright, knight's going to move. They have to slide. Knight f3. King h1. Oh, do you just save the rook? Maybe it's just rook e5 after? Yeah, I don't think you have to win anything. I think you go knight f3. They can't go king g2 because you take with check. So they would have to go over, and then you could go rook f e5. You're already up the knight. And I think it's maintaining an advantage. I don't think it's creating a new one. Yeah, if you took here, you're actually losing with take, move, and that's free. But rook here, now they can't take the knight. Yeah, you're not... I get it now. You're not... I'm trying to create a different advantage. You just have to keep this one currently. Taking with the knight runs into f4, I believe. So take with the rook. And now it's a winning endgame. Alright, knight's going to slide here to f4. Take both rooks. I don't think you... So, Oreo, I think the problem with taking both... I should put that on the board, too. So, thank you for pointing that out. If you take here, I think they can take... This is actually still okay. You can't do this. Why? This is losing? I would have never said that's losing. How is this losing? Oh, you can go back. Oh, okay. Well, it's saying they take this, though. And now this is hanging and this is hanging. That's crazy. I would not have found that. Rook takes e1, and that's just a draw. Alright, so this next one. We got 41 correct. Let's see if we can get to 42 here. Are the knights here on f4? Is the queen trapped after knight here? Because they can't take the knights there. I believe so. You just go knight there. Can't go back. So here, up, take. Here, take. Take. You're up regardless after this. Yeah, this is what they do. Like they could do this. Is what I'm thinking. So now they just lose. Could you take the queen now? Oh, you still could do this though. Yeah. Capture, capture. Is it better? That's the question. Is it better to take the queen and go knight f3, or take the knight? All right, let's think. If you take the knight, okay, so here they have a move. Take, up, check. They both feel like, how are they both not winning? This is why puzzles are difficult. I don't get how they're both not winning ideas. Maybe here they can take over, take. I mean, this is definitely safer because you know you get something. I don't see why you can't take this. Like, I'm 99% sure you take with the queen because this is so straightforward. And this is more calculation, so I just want to go for this. Yeah. I don't get why the other one does not work, though. I'll have to look at that. No. It's not taking the rook. Dude, no. What is this? It's not taking the rook. You take the knight first. Oh, yeah, your rook's hanging. Why can you not do the other way, though? That's what I don't get. Why can't you just take this? No, you can do this. This is also winning. That is kind of frustrating. This is a win, too. Rook f8, and then check, and then here. And it's not a win, but this is, I see. You're under pressure at least. Yeah, 2 wrong in the last 4. That is unfortunate. They go pawn forward. Well, not exactly where you want to be at on puzzle 41, but this is where we're at. Check, down. Do you check first or go down first? I would guess you would have to check first. Because if you go down first, then you go rook back. Okay, and now you push. And then you push. And then here. What I don't get is if you go here, they go down. You check, they go up. You queen, they queen. How do they not queen at the same time? I'm missing that part. Oh, you can check now. Yeah, that's what you do. You check now, and now you push. Okay, and then you can get behind it. I'm gonna take care in the center. What do we have here? Is there a sack? Take, queen down, down. Looks like there is a sacrifice. And it would probably have to be so it could be forcing. So rook takes on f7, king captures. Queen to h7. No, but they could go bishop g7. No, that's not it. That doesn't make sense. The queen is free. Do you just take the queen? But they have a fork. Oh, maybe you sack. Okay, I think I get it. You sack the rook to go. It is qh7, but it's to take the queen at the end. It's not to checkmate. Right, you'll take. Letting queen here happen. And now this is free in the corner. Because they had knight f4 as an idea. And now you take that. And now the queen's under attack. You can only go queen back, I believe. Everywhere else is guarded. So let's get out the way. And we get that right. Alright. The rook's going to slide over here to d1. Queen e4 doesn't make that much sense. They can move their king out the way. So I don't think that's the idea. And we... back and over also doesn't really make that much sense. But your queen is under attack, so the queen has to move. So QE4, they move their queen. Then D4? Could that be it? D4 trying to open it up, but like what do you get from it? Like you don't win anything, but I feel like you like that only QE4, D4, it has something, like it does something. Well, let's go for it. Queen here. That's right. Now is it d4 like I was saying? Because they take here, rook down. It feels like you have a nice forward position. I don't want to go for it. Take. Now, do I take back with the rook or the another piece I can take back with? I think the rook would be right. I would guess you have to take back with the rook here. Yeah. Capture, capture. If you take here, I think they can go here, and then up. So I think it's take, here, check. And then wherever they go, you're very close to the king. And if they go over, then you slide here, right? So I think you do capture here. And they slide all the way back. Okay. Now this is where I may be lost. Is it queen to c2 check? Now that rook's hanging. If they move their queen up, you can go rook down, take. Yeah, it's qc2. And now rook can go here to d2. If they take, you'll take again. That is something. You stop a square short. Rook takes. Capture. And the rook's going to fall soon, too. It's kind of weak sitting there. All right, this next one. The pawn goes forward. The rook down. King up. Oh, bishop here. King here. Knight takes checkmate. Bishop here. They can only go king f6. And then knight captures h7. Should be mate just like that. Alright, next one. They want to move their king out the way of this queen check. If you slide in, they get this spot back. Not what I really want to do. Check back. If you check this way, they go back here again. So it must be something different. Like, it has to be something different than that diagonal control. And if you sack on b5, they take q, d5, they have c5. So we know it has to do with that, at least. Oh, I get it. I get it. It's queen here, back, queen f5. If they go here now, that is checkmate. If they go, well, I'll just show it. Here. Oh, okay, now you can't do it. Appreciate that, Gio. Much appreciated, much appreciated. Let's show this puzzle, too. But yeah, we got a lot of compliments on the suit today. You guys are liking the suit. And they go back. This is my favorite one, so I understand. It's a pretty cool one. Or not cool, comfortable, cool. I guess it is cool. But a check here is the idea. If they go here, this is also checkmate. But if they go back, this is checkmate as well. That's why it works. All right, next one. We're at 46. All right, their pawn's going to take here in the center. Well, the only thing I see is rook f1. Nothing else makes any sense to me whatsoever. The problem is that also it makes limited sense to me after king moves up. So then we go to here. But once the knight moves, it feels like the momentum's dead with rook f1. So let's say it's rook f1. They move. But the queen has no way to attack the file or the diagonal without the king being involved. So that's where I'm like, how exactly do you do this? And if you went rook f6, they could go qg5, then rook g6, qx d8, rx d8, and then knight f3. And it's pretty much done. The attack, I mean. So I think you have to go rook down. But why? Why is that the idea? I don't know. I don't know. Could you go down and then you take on d4? Maybe. And you're just to win the rook in the corner. But you're down a piece right now. Like, you're down a knight clean. If you take in the center now, then it has to be rook down. Yeah, it has to be rook down. Must be. Now the rest. The rest, I don't know. I have no clue. The knight can't move at least now. Right? Because if you go here... So maybe it is queen here then. And if they take... And then the rook can slide over. And then bring rook down. My Elo, do you mean online or over the board? And if you mean online, what time control? But I think here. Because you're setting that up. And then this wouldn't work. Well, we have to do something. That is correct. Okay. And then this is free. Alright, that makes sense to me. Alright, next one. They push their king forward. No way. I've done puzzles like this before, but if you check, they go here. If you check, take. Oh, I see it. It's check here, they'll take. You can't slide over, but you can go here, take, here, up, bishop down. The bishop is the MVP of this one. And you have to go over, they go up, and then bishop here. Because if you go here, they'll take, so QG6 instead. And the queen can't move, or they'll take that. So bishop f6 now should be checkmate. Alright, next they move their king, move their queen, I mean. Capture, capture, up, over, up, over, up, over, up, over. Here, here, up. I think if you run your king, you can guard it. Because you can otherwise. So you take. Oh, that's not it. That's not. Oh, I hit play again too quickly. Got to 48 there. Missed out. I wanted to see why I was wrong, but I hit play again too quickly. Muscle memory. But yeah, if we take here on h4, that's free. So we have an easy, hopefully, 30. That's the goal. We get the first 30, no problems. Check, take, mate. Wow, I'm parched. You can go queen here to e1 on this one, right? QE1, that should be mate in 1. Okay. Sorry, I don't know why. I don't know. But rook can go here to f4, looking to attack there on g4. And that should be a free bishop at the end of it. That should be all that is required of this puzzle. Alright, next one we got the first 10. We have the first 11, the knight's there still. Checkmate there on a7. The queen's going to slide, take here, and you win the rook here in the corner. Alright, next up, check, and you sack the queen, and that's mate there on e1. Next, that's not free. The knight can move, though, and then you can take there on g6. That's a pretty cool one. And now you can capture. That's free. That's mate. Checkmate because of the bishop guarding the queen there. Down, over, here, here, and then take. On f1, that's mate. This is checkmate here on d7 because you have the rook and the queen working together. Next up, what do we have? If you bring your rook down, they'll capture. Capture. That should be enough. That should be enough. And this is so close to promoting. Man, they had me confused. This is kind of a little difficult. If you take the knight takes queen down, over, and if you push now, what happens? If you push now, they move their queen behind it. I'm really not sure. I would take. Because if you move the pawn down now, they go QC5. How do you promote? Yeah, I'm just going to take this here. I still have to do calculate. Okay, still have to calculate. Well, it has to be queen down then. And now you go down. And you move out the way. That's a lot of moves for puzzle 19. But we got it. The rook can slide over check, setting up that knight, that bishop to be free because the knight's attacking it. And it's also attacking that rook there. So I think it's rook f8, check. And this is now a free piece. Alright, next up, they're going to take here. This bishop can't move, so you know it has something to do with the king sitting there. If you go up, they could take, stopping your attack. Capture, check. If they move, queen up. So capture, up, rook down. Yeah, I think you just take the knight. And now rook can slide in. And now queen can slide in for checkmate. Alright, next up, the queen's just going to go here. It's not opposition. If the king was not here, this is still checkmate. Because the king just can't get out the way. The queen's there to kind of throw you off. And you can't go here because they can go back. Oh, the queen is necessary. And the king is necessary. Here, here, queen here, over, and then down. And that's checkmate. They were at the first 22. if you go up, yes, you go up, they'll take down, and then queen here to f2 should be checkmate. They're all check moves. They're all forced to they have to respond to every move, and queen slides over. All right, what to do? What to do? See, they're one move away from queening here. If you you could take, and now you promote. You're gonna win their queen if they promote there. That's a pretty cool one. It's a pin that's set up in the idea of it. All right, next, their king's gonna slide here to d5. The knight going back forces a capture because they can't go anywhere else. Then knight back here, winning the queen on f6. That is what I'm thinking we're gonna do. So knight here to c7. Wait, do I play it? I think it is it. Nothing else works. Yeah, here, and you have the fork at the end. This should be mate and a couple. Take over. You can't slide all the way over because of the queen. So you could take king moves, g2, king h2, g3, king up. Well, let's just do this as the first move. All right, capture. Now you can't slide over. You can't go back. So you know you have to push. I'm not exactly sure how that's made at the end, but it looks like it's definitely a mate on the horizon. Queen down, check. They move and you take there on g2. Check here. Checkmate. All right, next up. See, the king looks like to be in some mating net. And there's so many pieces around it. I think it's knight b8, right? And then if they move down, you go rook here to d6. Discover, check, and promotion, checkmate. Let's see. You said discover, check. Oh, that's the wrong one. That last one. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Double queen. Yes. I was like, this doesn't actually work. Yeah, I say this does not work. But it's because this is a queen and that is double check. Good eye, good eye. For this one, I think is knight here to b8. They're going to drop back and then rook over. Yeah. All right, next up, you see they move their bishop back. You can sack your queen and then go knight there to f7 because it's guarded by the bishop. The rook has to move, and that's checkmate. All right, next up, the queen can slide over with this check here. Oh, you can't go in because of this. So it would have to be this check. Oh, yeah, if they slide, you could bring your rook over. Can you sack? No, I think you have to give a check here, and that's all you have to do. All right, they move there. Knight over. You can sack the queen and double check. They have to go over, and then rook h1 checkmate. Double check. Rook h1 mate. All right, next up, we have the first 31 this time. A better start than the last few, it seems. I guess we had the last one we started good. We got like 38 or 39 wrong. The queen can slide here, check, they move. There's no follow-up to that. Taking this, the knight captures back. So there is some thinking involved here. It's not super straightforward. Queen down. I don't know what to do after king gets out the way. But king out the way, whatever happens, I'm not sure what to do. Is it queen here? Setting up mate in 1. Maybe it is that. If you go here, they have to go over. And now here, check. Now they'd have to go over. You would check, they go down, and then queen down. Because we'd make this move first. Check. They go over. Oh, is that the same thing? Oh, that's the same thing, yeah. Check here. That's even quicker. And then here. And then down. Setting up mate. And that's two mate ideas. And now here for the mate in 1. And they have to sack everything. Alright, so this next one. They push their pawn. This is en passant. Every day of the week we get this one. And that's going to be a win for black. Got the first 33 here. A nice start. They push their pawn forward. You have this check idea. But they can move their king out the way. Oh, but if they do that, you have a fork. That's what it is. Check here if they take. No. Check here. Up. Knight down. That is going to be free. Yes. And then here, knight up, take, queen. So rook e6. And now the knight's going to come here for the fork. And you're going to take the rook here in the corner. I know this next one, you have the white pieces. You can see the king is somewhat open. But also that we're guarding the square here to promote. Let's say graduation square, the promotion square. So let's say we push up, they promote, we take, they take. Pawn down. I don't know. Check up here, down, promote, take, rook takes. Oh, what we could do, we can move our knight in. And then when they go down, you go down. Yeah, I think you just push. Now you can take. Rook will take. Oh, whatever you do, the knight can. Oh, it doesn't even matter, yeah. I was miscalculating. Capture. And you can move the pawn down now. The rook goes down, the knight can block it. Can you go knight here immediately? Oh, no, rook down will stop, yes. So you just push the pawn down, and then knight's going to blockade. Alright, next, the rook's going to slide in, take it on h3. Let's see what this next move will be. Alright, you could slide over attacking the rook. Probably not it. You move your queen in here, but then they go back. Can you take with check first? Oh, no, that's definitely it. You take with check first. If they go over, you have this check. Right? And if they go over, it's checkmate. So you capture. So you check, and then you check. They move their queen. You go down. They can't go back, so you have queen here, and now queen down, and you win the game. I look like there's mate in one here because of this knight. There's not a mate in one there. There's a mate in one here, though. With queen here to e8, the king can't move anywhere. I believe that's it. Yeah, that's just mate in one. You go here, no diagonal, no anything, no blocking. Yeah, that's checkmate. Bishop's going to slide here to e3. This is d5. And then if take, take. Yeah, this is just d5. And you just go up. And now you take. And if they take, you have your b pawn guarding. Alright, you can see there's a mate threatened. And rook up just makes it for sure. Because if you push now, the king can back up. If you go rook here to d4, you're cutting off the fourth rank still. If they push up, you then have h6 checkmate. Alright, that's it. And the rook's going to slide all the way over. Can you take, up, down, up, over, down? And I don't think they're fast enough. If you push once, you push here first, they have to move their rook back, right? And they give a check. They don't even go for it. Alright, well, I would guess you go king here. King down seems like you're too limiting with your own king. I like king here to d6 better. And they push their pawn down. We're going to get a queen here now first. And there we go. Got the first 40. Alright. As a promising start, we have to get 20 more now. 20 more. And, I mean, I think we've done harder things. The main thing with this is it king f7 or king h7? Because I don't see a difference. That's the problem. I don't see a difference. Oh, neither work because bishop captures d6. So yeah, you have to operate quickly. So, but you have to... Huh. How do you do this? If you go rook e5, they have king g6. Which should end the game. There shouldn't be anything after that. After rook to f5, rook e5, then king g6. Which is why I'm saying king f7 to set up rook e5 checkmate. But then they could just take on d6 at the end of that. So I don't understand that one. I don't get why that one would not work. Check, or why it would work. Check, they move the king. There's no checkmate. The knight can't move anywhere. You need to go knight here. Or knight here where the rook is at, which wouldn't work. But if you go here, they'll capture on d6. That also doesn't feel right. If you give this check, they slide. That's also does not feel right. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. Bishop here. This is a crazy one. But we're at the first 40. We have to get this one right. We can't stop here. We can't stop here. And moving the rook off the e-file, it allows the king to get that light squared runaway, and it's getting farther away from the knight. So I need it on this side of the board right here. So rook e5 check. That's forcing at least. We know it's forcing. But the pawn there is so free on d6 that it makes everything feel a little incorrect. Because there's always, you lose this attacker. If the knight moves to f3, it doesn't control any more squares on that side of the board. So it does not feel like it's some huge benefit to me. King over. Oops. King here to h7. They just take, right? And you can no longer go rook to e5. Rook to e5. King will move down. This is still hanging. Knight. Dude. Number 40 may have stumped me. But I want to stay here for a while, because I don't want to get this wrong, because I know it's going to get harder than this. This is one of the easier puzzles I have. The easiest puzzle I have remaining is this puzzle right here. So we gotta find number 41. We know there's a mate. It has to be a mate. You're losing on the material. They have 2 rooks and a bishop for a rook and 2 pieces. White's winning. This is probably just a mistake instead of going king back. They played an issue. If you move up, that's taken. But it's still opposition. So maybe we can play with that. If we go king f7, we know it's mate in 1. So they would have to take on d. Rook f8. It is rook f8? If you go here, what if here? Then does the king get away? And for the bishop, oh, is it bishop b2? Wait, oh no, they could just take. And then you couldn't go there. You really couldn't go rook e5 after. Rook f. I want it to be rook f8 too, because it makes sense to me to give that check, right? But I don't think it works, so the king gets out. It's boxed here. Bishop b. I was considering bishop b5 as well. I don't think it works because of they could sack. Right. And then it wouldn't. And then even if they don't sack, like this isn't checkmate anymore. The idea is you need the rook. What I'm thinking is you need the rook to be there. But that doesn't work because of this. There must be a check I'm missing. And then Tech, appreciate those likes there. Closing in on 6,000 on TikTok. Yeah, bishop e5. So let's say bishop e5. Can they just move like their rook up, attacking the knight? And then the knight's hanging, you'd have to move like here or something. But this check just won't work, you know? Because the king can slide in. Oh, well. Oh, no, you can go there. Never mind. King to e6. If they go there, it is an issue. King f7. That was my second thought after I realized that doesn't work. What I'm running into a problem with is after bishop takes, there's no more rook e5. Here, I was considering this are the 3 I'm thinking of. With this move, I'm still thinking like if they just take, I don't know how you could mate. Knight f3. That's also one I was considering. Or no, not in the top 3, but I thought for a second, I just didn't see a way. Like after this, they can move their king, was my thought with king g4. A sack. And I think it would have to be something out the box, because all the basic moves have very easy ways to stop them. Tournament, not today. We had tournaments, not yesterday. We had tournaments last stream. Then we'll have them 2 streams from now. So tomorrow will be rated play. One after that, we'll have the tournaments going on again. They're here on f5. Man, I don't know. And the likes, Tech, much appreciated. Almost at 6,000. I'm gonna have to get this one wrong, but I need to get it right. That's the problem. It has to be right. But we've heard bishop e5, and the king moves. Here, it must be that. It has to be that. And it's just something where I'm missing. If the knight moves, they take. But you can't go there. That's the problem. You can't move the knight to h4. You know, either I have no clue what lies. I'm at a loss. And I know it's going to be easy. When I see it, I'm going to be like, dude, how did I miss that? But me right now, I'm telling future me, I just don't see it. Don't be too hard on us, because this is crazy. Like, rook over, they move. And it has to be easy. The king is on the 5th rank. It has to be easy. It has to be. And it can't go backwards. But every idea just runs into an issue. Is it win material somehow? Check. Here. But once the king gets away from the knight, the bishop and rook aren't enough. You need the knight to do something. Like, it has to be involved some way. Okay, here's forced to go back. Knight down. They take. Knight. No. How do you do that? How do you do that? Rook e5. On the rook e5, I was looking at bishop or here and then here. And if you go back and forth, and eventually they can take that, was the reason I wasn't too fond of it. Maybe that works, but that's why I didn't play it there. Bishop e5 is your final guess. Okay, we got your final guess. Bishop e5 is yours. Your chat, rook e5. Rook e5, I don't think works because of the bishop capturing. Why not king g7? G7, are you saying f7 or, oh, I think you said the h7. So Tio, these are the main three I'm considering. But h7, I think they can just take. Rook e5, I mean, it has to be something, so maybe. I just don't see how it works after the king moves. That's what I'm missing. King h7, rook f8. The king in after. I saw it. I see it as well. I just don't see how it works. I'm not gonna say dot. D. I see it. I just don't. After the king moves, I don't see the follow up. Is the problem. With here, the king moves. G4 after. Ah, that could be it. Because of G4 after. Let's see, because if you go here, they move up. G4. I believe you're correct, because that is a checkmate. That's a mating net. Shout out, who said G4? Shout out Swan. I'm pretty sure you're right. Here they move, and then G4, rook G5. I'm pretty sure. G4? You said G4? I don't see G4. I just see you saying rook E5. You don't have G... Am I missing the chat? I don't see G4. This is the first time I saw G4 mentioned. If you go up, then over. All the way up. Let's see. It's rook E5. Rook E5. No, you just have rook E5 a lot. G4 is the... I'm not lying. I promise. It does not. And if you sent it in, send. But it's not there. I promise. And that is good eye and checkmate there. But they castle. So I have 40. I don't get credit for 41. They castle there. What can we do? In response, knight can take and then capture there on G4, but no. Check, no. This sack doesn't make any sense. What is he? What's hanging for them? What is hanging? Here. No, but they could just take that then. And then take... Oh, no, they can't take back. I may get this one wrong. I don't know. Check. Can they go... Okay, check over. So it's either here or here. Only two things that do something are bishop c5 and knight x c4. Knight x c4. Capture. Could you take the knight after? But if you check first they go over, I don't see it all. Yeah, this is kind of a guess. It is this. Yeah, say it has to be this. I see why it works this way. And then you take the knight. Like this, I've done this puzzle before. I don't understand why I couldn't, well, I will see if we get it right first before I act like, before I go that deep. But I think you can you're taking with check here, and you're capturing that they're at the end. And you'll have, wait, capture, take check, they move, because you can't take the bishop back. No, you can't. You have to take the queen. Now this is where, do you take the rook? I'm saying take the knight. I think you take the rook instead. If you take and they move and you take, it's very even. You have to take the rook. No! I second guessed myself. I should have just done what I was saying originally. I just don't get after, I'm missing after king f2. Why can they not? Rook a d8. Can they not just take that? Okay, alright. I did not know this was winning. I think that's win material. This is not, this is winning. Man, they tricked me. Usually it's winning in a different way. Like, it's not just a pawn in the game that's the win. That's maybe the first time I've had it's just a winning pawn in the game. Like, that is not where it's obvious, like in the end game, where you just have a better position because of the pawns there. I can live with that. Like, I was not looking for that at all. The queen going in, I mean, obviously you want to get it right, but I don't see that too often. The queen can check, take, no. Take, that's actually, no, they can't go down. So can you take over? Probably not, I'd say. Man, appreciate that, Amika, appreciate that. Is it Amika? Am I saying that right? Yeah, appreciate the follow, appreciate the compliment. If you capture the bishop, I'm worried about it just not doing it. Like, I don't see how you do. If you take, I don't understand what to do after the queen slides down. Imakabe? Emakabi. That's my, is how you pronounce it, Emakabi? I realize I missed a letter there at the end. Okay. Going in does not work at all. If they take, that's free. So you can't queen trade. Can you sack at all? Take, no, then that is checkmate. No, you can't sack. You cannot sack. Maybe it is this, and I'm just not seeing it. Take, they go here. Check. Over, but the king is so safe at the end of that. This is crazy. Capture. No, that doesn't do anything. Capture. I guess they can't take that. Oh, no. Oh, wait, no. What am I talking about? Yeah, you take... I'm saying they get the bishop back. They don't get it back. The knight's here. So take. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. If you go here, they have queen down. So which way is it? Is it up? Here. That's actually checkmate. So you have to go the other way. Yeah. If you go here, queen down, you would have to go. I guess you could still go here, though. Huh. See, again, what is the difference between the two? Because this and this, they both seem like they're okay. Maybe it's keeping contact to the rook, but why would it be that? Alright, king d7, king c7. King d7, they have this check, right? Immediate. Nothing you can do about that. You can't block. But you can go here. Like, that's the part I don't get. You could go king c6 either way. Like, if you go here, then they go here. Like, you can't go king d6. Like, that's checkmate. That's the problem. But if you go here, why can you not still go there? I would guess it's here out of safety reasons. So, like, I'm pretty sure it's just king up. But I don't get the difference if you went king d7. Like, I want to play this, and I'm trying to see it. Like, if I had to play a bullet game, it's simply up. But here, queen down. Here. 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 Here, 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 here. How is it not the same thing? I mean, it has to be this if it's between the two of those. But I don't get how it's different. And then king here. Okay, what is the difference though? Like, is king safety like intuition or instinct that I pick king c7 because it's farther away? Why is this losing? This is the same thing. Here, here. Oh, rook c8. I would say the queen can't do anything. It's rook c8 that I missed. Alright, that's cool, that's cool. And this way, they can't go... Oh, you have to get king to b6. That's the difference. I'm thinking you have to go c6. I was completely wrong there. Whatever you did to c6, rook c8. That's why it's a difference. Okay, okay. Makes a lot of sense. And I even played king b6 too. So I like realized it on some level, but I did not process it. But they move their queen here to g6. You can check. They move up, take, and then I guess you're looking at some type of mate. Oh, wait. The rook can oh, this is checkmate. Oh, you can't move that there though. But there is a mate in this general area, but you cannot go down, as that is a free queen. So that would have been quite the miss to get my second strike. But there is like taking, and there's something there. This is hanging. Wow. Good thing I'm thinking, because I would have... That's crazy. But if the knight slides in, they take. The rook going in, nothing happens. You capture over. This one's a little confusing for me. Because what do you do? I would... Like, if you move bishop e6, that's way too slow. Like, that, it's no way that works. I don't know. If you take the pawn there on e2... Again, I just think it's too slow. Like, how do you win after that? Like, let's say b6. Like, even if you took the knight, it's not checkmate. Like, even if you go queen down, they could just go king c2 at that point. And honestly, your queen's almost... Oh, your queen is trapped, actually. You'd go back and they go rook a1. So, no, it's not bishop e6. Is it just knight e5? Knight e5... The queen can go... Because the queen is almost trapped. That's the only thing I can see. If we go knight e5, they go qe4. Oh, no, I get it. It's because you go here, and they move. Appreciate the likes. I didn't see who sent them, but I think I saw some likes. And they move their queen, and then it's knight here. That's mate. The queen's hanging. They can't go back. Yes, I'm pretty sure this is it. And if here, they move over, and then you just go here. Yeah, this is what happens. They move their bishop in, but you could just go over, and the same thing persists, except now they'll take, and then you take. And you can't go over, because of what? There is a difference. I believe you have to go. Well, I'm sure there's a difference. Now, will I get the difference right is the real question. My general rule is never move towards the open space. This seems safer. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, here. Because if you go here, why can they get away? There must be some way they get away with it if you go over. Queen down? Oh, yeah, it's simply, yeah. Queen h7. That would be the problem, right? Let's double check that's right. But I think if you go the other way, qh7 runs into an issue. If you go king f8. Yeah, you're just you're just losing if that happens. Okay, and now the knight can't get there, setting up the mate. Let's go to this next one. We have 43 correct. Okay. It feels like it would be the sack of something. So, take, check, they have to take. And then, wow, this one's a little confusing. It looks like it's easy. Because there's some mate, you know there's a mate somewhere. That much is obvious with the way it's set up. Knight captures on d5 check. CX d5. Oh, and then and then it's QB3. Yes. You'll take here. Take. Or not QB, QB6. Check. Block, take, up, checkmate. Yeah. Alright, let's show that real quick. Bishop. So the reason the bishop doesn't work is because the knight here is guarding it. So if you go here, they're actually winning after knight captures f4. Somehow. The king seems so undefended, but I guess you don't have that many pieces. And then if you go, like, any sacrifice, there's just no way to really get in. So that's why you have to take here. They can only take here legally, take back legally. The king can't move anywhere, and it's in check. So if the king can't move, you have to take. It's the only piece you can take with. So that's why you have to take. And now you can't go here because this is a free queen. Bishop f4 is actually okay. King d4, this is winning after qb6, and then queen back, and I guess you take this. But that is not what the puzzle wants you to do. Once you get checkmate, which is why we go queen here instead, and now they have to block. You can take, they go up, and now it's checkmate there. Alright, this next one. I know you guys can hear that. My computer is like making a lot of noise right now. Let's go to this next puzzle. The rook comes down. If you take here, I don't get why that wouldn't be it. Honestly, I don't see why that's not it. Instantly, I mean, why would it not be that? Anything else? And Jose, what's going on? Thank you for those likes there on TikTok. Yeah, Rook XG, they have two pieces hanging. I feel like I'm getting scammed. Like, it's going to be extremely difficult. But they just have... And if you take on G6, then the bishop also is just hanging. So I'm really confused, because it seems like it's just taking two free pieces. But I know it's not that easy. I know it's not. I know it's not. I've been tricked before. But they're like, it's in my face. It feels like you just take on G6 with the rook. Alright, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't see anything else. You take here, attacking the queen. This is guarded. This is also hanging. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. This is not checkmate. They can't take there. Alright. Okay, this is correct. Okay. Do you not just take this? Oh. They're setting this up. There we go. So bishop captures. Check. Oh, that's checkmate. Oh. That would make sense. So you have to sack. Because if you take this as a checkmate, basically. You block, take, yeah. So now you pre-sack, I would guess. Because you can't go over. So sack, rook takes here. And then king over. Yeah. And you have to go king to g8. I think if you go king h8, you're losing. Maybe not, because they didn't make it part of the puzzle, so maybe they're both fine. I think so. If they take with the rook. Oh, you can make both of these moves somehow. Is this not winning? Oh, you have to sack. I'm going to say this is definitely winning. But it's, yeah, if you keep the queen on it, it is a win. Or something. Yeah, I'm going to say this is not right if you go king up. But you have to sack the queen on f7. Okay. We're at 45 here. They took here on g2. Let's see. Well, there's an obvious move. But because of how obvious that move is, there must be a checkmate idea. Because knight c6 wins the queen. And I'm not sure which one it is. Knight c6, triple fork. Or knight here. There must be some way to get a checkmate. I'm gonna guess... Is it check though? No, it's no check. double check, they move. Here. Oh yeah, if you go here, they have to go over. Because they go over. Yeah, I think it is this. Here, over. Check, up. And you take the queen. But then your rook's free. But here instead, they get out the way. So it would have to be knight here. Do you take the rook instead, though? I think you take the rook instead. They move their king over. I guess you can't go there, check. Rook down. Oh, it's rook down, king up here. That's checkmate. Yeah. Alright, next. They take here in the center. I think queen h5 is the move. And it's not here, but it's queen takes here on f5. And then queen f7, checkmate. Alright, next one. They move their king up here to f2. Let's see. Knight check. They move queen g5. I don't know. Check here, they take. That's not it. Check back. They move. Queen up. They can get in the corner here. It has to be a mate idea, I'd say. It has to be mate. Because I don't think down this much material they are trying to make you survive this. And you can't win the rook because it's not hanging. Or the bishop. So you know it's a checkmate. I think you need the knight. But after here, up, queen moves back. I don't get how you'd win that one. I don't see it. QD2. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's just queen e2. And you move, then you take, and then up. But after up, well, it's still probably this, yeah. Is it knight back, though? Because I don't think you can take. Can they go here? I think it's knight here. And then queen here. And then here. And then back up. Alright, next up. Good eye there, Leonardo. When their king's going to slide forward, queen in. Yeah, I think just queen in. And then you can take here. That's free. They go back. That's free. And then here, back here, you take the rook instead. Alright, now you take the rook. And can you get more from this? Check. Back. Take here. I guess you could get a lot from this. This is free now. So slide over. And then you can slide over again. And you're setting up rook coming down. Alright, the kings want to go here to h7. Bishop back. This is going to be a free bishop at the end. Maybe bishop back here so the king can't slide over. So bishop here, they go back. Check, yeah. No, that's not it. See what the correct answer was? I guess I'm going way too fast for puzzles at this difficulty level. It's back instead. Oh, checkmate is what I missed. Ah. Alright, can we get to 50 at least? That's the goal right now. Because we don't want to not get to 50 at least. But QE2 check. Bishop A3 check. Yeah, bishop A3 works. And then you take here and then rook, yeah. Take rook E1. Take, and now you take the rook here on F8. Alright, next, you see that rook slides forward? There should be some type of mate idea soon. Queen over, check. Take down over, yeah. I think it's queen here. Rook down. Now capture here. Because you take this, this is checkmate. So they have to all be checks. That's what I am picking up. So check here. Now do you capture this way? Yeah, you do capture this way. And this is checkmate. You see they take here on f2. We just need to get out the way, really, and set up rook going down. So you could move the king just out the way. I feel like, yeah, or no, king here. So when they go, yeah. So that here, take. We want the bishop to be under attack. Instead, right. And now we capture. Oh, but their rook's trying to slide over. Well, do you just take the bishop then? And then take the rook? Alright, we got that one. They take here on d5. You can take here check. And then it seems like just qf2 would be the idea. So take check, and whatever they do, queen f2 after. You know, it has to be a checkmate as well. We have such little pieces remaining here. Not a lot of material. So we're going to... Oh, that's wrong. Wait, that's not... What is this? Oh, queen all the way over. Wow, if king slides over there, it's just mate. I just didn't even consider that. I'm like, oh, it has to be pushing. But on 53, I should have known it was not that simple. Well, today, we're going to call it a little earlier. I do have to eat dinner. So thank you all for tuning in to this stream. If you want to support me on PJ Chess on YouTube, on Instagram, and on TikTok, and PJ Chess 993 on Twitch if you want to support me. Thank you guys for watching.